captain speaking.
We call it the LAX, LA Sports Mega Block. Of course, powered every day by LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, where change arrives daily. Let's get to it. Time to get in the air. We're taking off, LA.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah!
What the hell is going on? I'm
Buenos
feeling great,
dias,
man.
Jorge.
It's Friday.
Who's that?
Oh, Jorge.
For show.
Brian Cohen in the house.
We'll mix it up.
What's up, brother?
How are you, Brian?
Pretty good. By
Feeling
yourself?
good?
Yeah.
Nice to be back in the quasi-morning, the mid-morning spectaculars.
I've been awake this early in a long time now.
Or are you a late riser?
Yeah. Probably like around 9:30, 10 o'clock, actually.
That's good. I'm the same.
Yeah.
Wake up right when our open goes, and you're like, well, it's time to be awake.
Time to tune in.
So one of two things is happening.
Okay.
Maybe both, but I don't think so. Because one is either I am still badly out of rhythm from the clock, us falling back.
3 weeks ago.
That's why I say I don't think it's that. But the other alternative, and Emily, you're not allowed to respond to this, is worse. You know how old people get up in the middle of the night for no reason and they just start their days at like 4 a.m.? What's going on?
What time are you getting up?
What time am I getting out of bed or what time am I waking up?
What time are you awake?
4 a.m. Every single day.
You're awake at 4 a.m.?
Like this, Sal. Like not like, hey, my eyes look at the clock.
I know why.
Oh, it's 4.
I know
When
why.
you go to bed.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, it's like a cycle, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm waking up so early, I'm going to bed a little bit earlier. And so the football game ended. What time did the football game end last night?
8:30? Yeah.
So I went to bed at 9?
Okay, you got to fight that
9:30?
cycle.
I
You got to
can't.
fight that cycle.
I'm exhausted.
I'm going to give you an example. You probably don't want this example, but I'm going to give it to you anyways, okay? My mom.
See, I don't like this
Just give me a
already.
second. Just give me a second. I know it's not the best setup here, but let me
My
just...
mom also wakes up really early.
No, this is what happens. My mom always tells me, she's like, yeah, I got to sleep at like 10:30. And she's so tired, like at 9 or 9:30. She's like, no, I have to. Because if not, I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to be sitting, whatever. Now, granted, my mom is a lot older than you are, okay?
Sure, maybe.
You're potentially.
Oh, no.
Your cycle is what's hurting you. You got to fight through it. You can't fall asleep at 8:45.
It wasn't. It was like 9:15.
We know you.
Look, I'm not saying I'm making it to 10 because I'm not.
Travis, we are like 2 weeks away from a Thursday night football game.
If you
Emily.
go till 10:30 at night, 10:30 at night, I guarantee you those 4 a.m., eyes wide open, you pacing, Susan saying, what the hell's going on, you laying out your clothes 3 weeks in advance.
I literally almost had a panic attack last night about what you just said. I did that thing because I'm watching the Cowboys and the Seahawks last night, right? By the way, thank you, Cowboys. Very
Yeah.
good news for the Rams that
Yep.
the Seahawks lost again last night. Good job, Dallas. Never thought I'd say that. But I had in the middle of the third quarter, I feel I've started to, trying to pay attention. I'm fading.
Middle of the third quarter yesterday?
Yes.
So at 7:17?
7:45.
Okay.
7:45, and I'm starting to fade. And I had that, what you just said, and I'm like, hey, hold on. The Rams play the Saints on December, I think it's the 21st, on the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
That game doesn't kick off till 5. It won't end till 8 or 8:30.
Yep.
I got 2 hours of that. That's a 10:30. By the time I'm done with the post-game show, I got to go. I've already started to obsess about how late I'm going to be out.
I've also been obsessing over it because I fly out the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what my flight is?
You have a 6 a.m.
5 a.m.
Ooh.
And
Stay awake.
But that's okay.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay
That's
awake,
okay.
but I also had to
Yeah,
figure
I
out
was
how to
gonna
get to
say.
LAX because Ubers aren't as available.
You can
I
pre-book.
almost would
But they
rather
almost never
have.
come.
I'd almost rather have a 5 a.m. than like 9:30. Because you're still going to end up at the airport at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock.
And
or
also,
something
don't
like that.
worry. I also have 2 layovers. Actually, I said wrong on Sunday that I had 3 stops.
2?
I only have 2.
That's good
So
news.
I have
2
Phoenix and
layovers?
Dallas.
I was talking with my dad over Thanksgiving, and I was telling him, I said,
After you woke up from a nap.
Well, no, I don't take naps because that makes everything worse, I've discovered. Occasionally I'll fall asleep on accident. But I said to my dad, I'm like, yeah, I keep waking up at 4 a.m. He goes, oh, yeah, that just kind of happens.
Put your arm around
I'm
you.
like, oh, my gosh. This
Son?
is my lot in life. Like, really?
I think I really do believe
That's why
this.
they eat so early.
I guess so. It's all coming together.
You got to power through and you got to get at least another hour before you go to bed. You got to be so, and whatever, I don't care what it is. You go for a quick walk around the neighborhood. You have to go till 10:30. I'll call my mom right now.
I'm waking up at 4
619.
a.m. and I'm laying there wide awake, and I don't get up. Like I still get out of the bed at roughly the same time that I did before the clock changed. I'm still blaming it on that, by the way. But yeah, I'm just laying there wide awake, and it's not great. So I hear that Brian is sleeping till 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
It's nice.
He's a young whippersnapper.
Nice.
I bet it is nice. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Brian's getting up. It's
What time do
12:30.
you go to bed, Brian?
Varies. Usually like around midnight though. But once I lay down, I'm out.
You're
it's almost
lights
instant.
out.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I do that, but I see now he's rubbing.
I like it. No, because the way he's saying it too, it's like,
It's bothering me.
it's a good life.
Emily is
Good life.
really good at making sure that you don't double back on her untruths.
Right, of course.
Because she said to me this morning that the guy that allegedly showed up on Thanksgiving to fix her
Company,
washer.
Brian, I don't know if you know about this.
I don't know.
Emily works with she's partnered with a company that only works on the holidays. They're only holiday techs.
It was Jorge's birthday earlier this week. And
Right.
so we were going to go downstairs to Craft by Smoke and Fire and have a couple beers and a little lunch. And I said to Emily, hey, we're going downstairs. Why don't you come with us and celebrate Jorge's birthday? And she went, she said, yes,
Yeah.
I will come.
I'll come.
And then 2 seconds out?
I think like 1.8. I think is what we clocked it. Yeah.
1.8 seconds. She went, I can't. I forgot. I have a repairman coming to my house.
Repair guy.
To
was
fix
true.
fix the washing machine.
Yep.
And a
the-
little dubious on whether or
And
not
then the
that
cat.
actually is what's happening.
There's something with a cat
Okay, well,
going
here's
on,
what
and
happened.
they're also
Cat in the
the 10
washroom.
freeway. We're still finishing
On
up the 10.
Wednesday or whatever his birthday was, he was supposed to come. Didn't end up coming because my landlord didn't tell me until 3 p.m. that the guy was sick. And I was like, okay. Then he texted me yesterday. It's like, oh, he can come at 2 p.m. At 2 p.m. today. I was like, solid, 2 p.m. Doesn't come till 3, so solid 3.
That's actually pretty good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And so then a guy comes in, and
Jose.
There's a little bit of a language barrier, and so I'm trying to explain what happened to the washing machine and the dryer, and he gets to start working on it. About 2 hours later, he says the washer's no good, and I said, awesome, great. So we can't use our washer, and he's like, nope. And I was like, solid. So now I still have to go to laundromat. So this is what is happening with this story, which is totally real.
Start doing like 50 years ago where they just wash everything by hand and then
Yes.
they got everything outside. And what's great about like her area, there's so many cars and it's busy and everything else, but she still has all her clothes
I have a
hanging
backyard.
outside.
I can do it there.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're set.
On the clothesline.
Yes.
You're set.
All I heard is good news that you get to go to a laundromat. I love a laundromat.
I love a clean,
throws me off.
safe laundromat.
I don't.
I just do not have a ton of those in my neighborhood.
Fair.
I love a laundromat. It's
do.
not a quote that I ever
It's
that
a
I've ever
liminal
had.
space where I can just check out and do my laundry.
She gets it. She and I are copacetic on this. It's not quiet, but you're left to your own devices for an hour or an hour and a half, however long it takes. You can do all of your week's worth of laundry at once. You don't have to cycle it through a bunch of
You're
times.
also kind of stuck there because you don't want to get your stuff stolen.
Sure, and you can bring
Free
a book.
Wi-Fi. There's free
You can,
Wi-Fi.
you can
Yep.
stare at your computer or
Yep.
your phone without
It's-
interruption. It's terrific.
You
okay,
should.
'cause
You
I-
should. I'm just a suggestion. When you have nothing to do one day, or you're trying to buy time to sleep a little later, stop by at your local.
So here's what's funny.
Hang out over there
that
without
new-
laundry.
That restaurant that opened in Dana Point that I really like to go to, Maison, right? It's my new favorite spot.
I actually love to go there too and have my martini. My spouse.
Right across the street, they just opened a new laundromat. And so every time we're done eating dinner, we go for a little stroll through Dana Point, and I stop and look fondly at the
Stare through the
laundromat.
window?
I have multiple pictures on my phone if you want to see it of the laundromat. If
I also-
you think
'cause
I'm kidding, I'm not.
The laundromat is not, to me, so unlike waiting for your flight. As long as your flight's on time, you're not stressed about that. If you're sitting down, you have your little breakfast pastry, you're sitting, you got to read your book or whatever you want to do. It's a space where
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
think I've
you're in
ever
between spots.
Even back in the day when I'd go to the laundromat, it was I drop my clothes off, it starts doing whatever it's doing. I leave for
so you don't actually spend your time in the laundry. That's where you're missing it out.
half hour. That's the key right there.
To stay
Yeah, I don't
there,
stay.
you have to be there for it.
Brian,
Yeah,
everybody has different tastes.
I'm
You
not
don't
staying. I'm
leave the
dropping off.
laundromat? You don't sit there and enjoy the solitude?
Yeah, no,
I've
I do
actually
not.
been to a laundromats where you put it in the washer, and then there's like a free service. They'll move it to the dryer for you.
What's that cost?
No, it's free.
I also
It's
don't want
free.
people
Yeah.
touching my
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what I thought too. But it is nice when you put your clothes in,
Yeah, until you
leave,
dry it, right?
Just come
and then you
back
come
and
back
everything's
they're
done.
Yeah, they're already dried.
I need to find my
nice.
laundromat pictures because they're in here somewhere.
I have a feeling what it would look like.
No, it's not. It looks like an Apple store. It's clean. It's well lit. All the machines are new. It's very, very exciting. You're coming down to the football game tonight. You're coming to my neck of the woods.
Yeah, I should leave right now.
Let's meet at the Dana Point laundromat, and we can just hang out and catch up on our entire week.
Just working on Monday's show.
Lakers lose again last night. They're 11. What are they? They're 11
and 9 on
11
the
and
season.
9.
Yeah,
through their first
25% of the season.
quarter
is
of the season is in the books, and they're slightly better than 500. Is that what they are? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
And you have 2 chances today to win MLS Western Conference Finals games between LAFC and the Houston Dynamo. So make sure you listen all day today. We're giving away 2 shots at this, okay? So, listen up all day.
The pursuit for back-to-back MLS Cups continues for the Black and Gold after the win in Seattle.
We're going back to BMO Stadium, baby, for the Western Conference Final.
Let's go at home. We're coming back. Coming back to BMO.
Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga struck again with another game winner.
Denis into the 18. Denis racing in. Shot. Goal! Denis finishes it off. It's 1-0.
And on the other side of the pitch, it was Maxime Crepeau, who was the hero in goal for LAFC.
Save Crepeau again. Oh, Maxime with a fingertip save here in the 82nd minute.
The run for the repeat marches on this Saturday at BMO Stadium.
We're so excited to play at home. We're ready. Stay home. I'm ready. Yes. Let's go.
Pre-game coverage begins at 6 p.m. on the ESPN LA app. Vamos Black and Gold.
Vamos!
Pretty nice laundromat, isn't it?
Oh, it's
Very nice.
See?
It's almost like the Renaissance store. It's all chrome.
Yeah, it's nice.
You know who the
Best
Renaissance
prize.
store is?
No?
Beyonce.
Oh.
Her film actually just was released yesterday for the concert film. Her
It's a great song. It's like the Ritz-Carlton of laundromats. What if you walked into the lobby
Okay,
here?
the
and
best
there's
part
just
is there's a Ritz-Carlton less than a
Okay,
mile from
first
that
off,
laundromat.
I could tell how uncomfortable you were in taking that picture.
Yeah.
Because there's a pole
They go
and
inside.
like the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And you took it. I can't tell. It almost looks like he's maybe hiding behind a car too. Like he leaned over to take a quick shot and said, "Honey, keep walking."
I have one. I got it because I troll my friends with these pictures too. I must have deleted it from my phone. They may still have it on there, so I'll reach out to them.
Better quality one.
No, it's me and Susan in the laundromat. We walked in to take one, but I must have deleted it at some point. Anyway, we can come back to that at some point. Emily, you're going to a chili party tonight?
Yeah.
Super
I'm
jealous.
Going to a chili party. My
You ever
friend
done that,
Rebecca.
Al?
So
This is not a real story.
it is
not
a real story.
You throw some things out there where
yeah.
I don't know if this is for radio.
Like the lie of the day?
Like if you guys got together and said, "Hey, let's just tell Al we're going to a chili party because he believes everything and trusts everyone," and then we just run with it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, no, it's fun. So my friend Rebecca, she's from Texas, so she loves her chili and everything, and so she's hosting a chili party. It's the annual chili party from Rebecca, and yeah, so it looks really fun. All you have to do is bring a bowl. Bring your own bowl, and she'll have the serving spoon, and then we eat chili and chat and have a good time and
Okay,
all that good stuff.
random question. That's not what I thought you meant.
The hell's going on here?
Because what I thought you meant out was like a chili party where everybody brings their own type of chili
Nah.
and you get to taste various chilies.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
too.
Is that what you thought
Yeah,
too,
that's what I-
Brian?
That's what I
No,
instantly thought.
this is Rebecca's specific family chili recipe.
Okay.
And then we all are going to bring our own bowls and try the chili.
That sounds good too, but I thought
So it's only one type of chili.
yeah, I thought we were gonna get like a chili cookout kind of situation where there's like 10 or 12 different
I feel
chilies
like
to try.
if you invited Trav and I to this thing and only told us, "Hey, we're going to a chili party. Do you guys want to come?" and Travis and I were like both in, and then we find out, is it Rebecca you said? And Rebecca says, "Hey guys, here's the chili." You and I would kind of sit there and be like, "Rebecca, we were sold on something differently.
Yeah.
We thought there were multiple chilies that we get to choose from. If you needed us to bring a chili, we could have brought one."
was just
But no,
gonna
she
say,
wants to make a lot of chili. And that's
I
the
would
point.
have shown up with chili, my recipe of chili, and said,
And then
hey,
she would have took that as disrespect
I don't
that
know.
you came
come
to
to my
her
house, you come to the Swan household,
and you
with
brought your own
chili.
chili. It's like coming to a restaurant
a
and bringing
chili
your own
party.
ribeye.
This is what Emily is describing is a dinner party. Come over to my house and I'll make you dinner.
But bring your own,
Yeah,
your
okay.
own silverware, which is fine.
It's kind of a different type of dinner party, but it's a dinner. Come on over, we'll eat my chili. Cool. That sounds
Yeah.
fun. But a chili party, I'd be kind of pissed off. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you
actually,
guys-
to be honest with you,
else's
to be
chili.
honest, I know it's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm a little ticked off right now too.
UVA had an annual
Put Rebecca
chili,
on the phone.
had an annual chili cook-off where, each, there's a bunch of like clubs and stuff on campus and sororities and fraternities. They would submit their chilies to this chili cook-off, and we'd have it every year, I think in like May or April. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I got
Yeah, I'm
the
on a
picture with me and
website.
Susan in front of the laundromat.
I'm on a website
I
right
just
now.
found it.
My favorite way to set up a chili bar. Give me that phone. Let's see what the hell we have here. I might call Susan and ask her more about this.
There you go. See?
Okay, but I'm going to go back to what I just said. You guys are clearly, by the way, it's a great picture, and the fact that Susan looks so happy and excited, and in the
She
background,
doesn't understand why I keep asking her to stop in
Yep.
front of the laundromat to take a picture. She's
and
like,
in
why
the
do we have to do this
background,
every
there's
time?
somebody just doing their work, right? They're moving the clothes to
My
the
goodness.
dryer.
doing their laundry.
But the fact that, again, I'm going to go back to this, there's like 15 feet distance between you and the front door. I feel like you're nervous. You're scared to get close without being a customer.
Would you
to
be
go in there and
starstruck
take
to meet
pictures.
the owner?
I'd want to know why there.
Would you be starstruck to meet the
Because
owner?
look, I don't know. It's a nice neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah.
It's an odd spot for a laundromat.
Like the real estate is probably very expensive.
Yes, that's
Well,
what I'm
not
getting
even
at.
just that, but there's a lot of people that will have plenty of appliances at home to take care of
Or their own
this.
butlers, obviously, because that's where you live.
It's not where this neighborhood is not my neighborhood, but this neighborhood might have
have
what
some
you're talking
butlers.
about. And yet there is a Apple Store / laundromat. It's
Yeah.
pretty,
By the way,
it's a pretty
guys,
good
it's
deal.
Ask Slee today. So send in your Ask Slees, but we also have Brian on the show, so we might throw in a couple of Ask BCs
Oh, yeah, I
or
like
Ask
that.
Brian.
We'll throw a
so-
few
like
of
that,
them.
yeah.
We'll throw a few
Yeah.
his way as well.
Usually, anybody can answer them, so you'll get your
Nice.
chance.
Cool.
Lakers lose last night.
Yep.
Well, again, we were talking about
Let's
it
go
during the-
Rams.
It's they had 2 games against 2 good teams this week, and they lost by a combined 67 points. That's not nothing, right? I'm not saying it's the end of the world. They're over 500. They're 11-9, but through a quarter of the season, I'm still waiting for them to look really crisp and sharp against a really good team, or at least a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened yet. And I know they're shorthanded. I understand there are some explanations out there, but every time and last night in particular, Slee, they looked slow to me. They looked like they were kind of stuck in the mud. It's the end of a road trip. And so there are some factors in this, but I keep waiting for there it is. And every time they play a pretty good team, Philadelphia, OKC, the Denver Nuggets, these other teams that we believe to be the best teams in the league, it's like, that doesn't look very good.
And they don't have to be – I think it has to be a top 2 team in the league. I think because you're going to get those, and they'll come to L.A. Denver, they lost. Sacramento, they've lost twice to. Miami, they lost to.
Another good example, yeah.
Miami, they lost to. Philly, obviously. OKC. So they got – if I could make a case, we were doing this yesterday, best win for the Lakers this season. And I know a couple people hit me up on Twitter on this, but I said I think Cleveland on the road. Okay, well Cleveland's 10-9, right? And then you mentioned, well, what about the Clippers? They lost 11 games in a row. Clippers, and a lot of people were agreeing it's the Clippers. Clippers are 8-10, maybe something like that. You know, they win an impressive game, then they lose yesterday, and they lost to the Denver Nuggets without some key players.
Or at least through the first quarter of the season, the Clippers have not looked like a good team.
So
that's fair to say.
They do not have a signature win. Listen, I'm going to ask you this. They're 11-9 through 20 games. And I remember you and I talking before the season started. And you said, as long as you're hovering around 500 kind of to start off the season, and then hopefully you put yourself in a position, you don't want to be in the playing tournament again.
Sure.
Playing tournament, I feel like, is like literally where the Lakers are every year. Can you just get into the playoffs, and now you're going to get some rest and things along those lines? Do you think Lakers are 11-9 because they are an average team, or do you think Lakers are 11-9, but there are also some circumstances in there where if things were going better, players were available, they had 5 guys missing last night, that they would actually have a better record and be a better team?
I think they're better than they've shown, but I don't know how much better. Right, and that's the concern to me.
Fair.
You know my
Fair.
deal, right? Like I'm kind of looking at what is this? I don't care if they're a little over 500, a little under 500. My thing is, are they good enough to win a title? Are they good enough to, if they get into the playoffs and play their best basketball, is that good enough to play another good team playing their best basketball? And that's kind of how I'm looking at this. And so far,
And that's what the expectations were, right? You know,
Right.
top
They
5
were
in the league, something like that.
Something like that. Right out of that top tier. They were near the top of the second tier is kind of where coming in. Right now it feels like they're in the middle of whatever that top tier isn't, right? So you have Denver, you have Milwaukee, you have Boston, maybe you have OKC, you can throw them in there, Minnesota. Like the teams that we've seen through the early part of the season, like that looks really good. Whatever that next group after that is, the Lakers are in that group and they're not at the top of it.
I agree.
They're in the middle of it. And again, this is not, hey, what the hell? This team sucks. It's not that, because they don't. But it's, hey, this was supposed to be a pretty darn good team, and so far it's been pretty average.
Let's say they went 2-2 on the road trip, okay? And the same wins. They beat Cleveland and they beat Detroit, who's lost 39 games in a row, right?
Yeah. So is San Antonio, by the way.
Yeah, they're really bad. They're really bad with Wemby. But let's say they went 2-2 on the trip, but they lost to Philly by 8, and it was a game. And they lost to the Thunder by 8. It was a game. You know, that okay, OKC was going to win the game, but here are the Lakers. It's kind of going to the fourth quarter, and Lakers down 6. You know, you still have a shot. I think that's when you get more context, because I would have taken 2-2 on the road trip. But when you look at the details and say, they lost by 44 against Philly, what the hell is that? Oklahoma, Lakers went up by 14 early.
Yeah.
And then it was never a game
Awful
after that. And the run that the Thunder went on, it's like yeah, this game is 1,000% over. And that's why maybe the word surprised was a little dramatic, but I said I'd be surprised if they beat the Thunder. I wasn't expecting them to beat the Thunder. But it's how you lose that's the question mark. I'm going to go back to something.
Do they look old and slow to you?
But this is why when you said yesterday they look like their feet were in mud.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to take a second. I would really, really like to see this team when everybody's there because let's forget that it was the fourth game of a road trip. Let's forget that the Thunder are a young team that are going to go like this, right? They're going to play their game. I think for me the thing that stood out more is they got to play Taurean Prince 35 minutes because they don't have anybody else. Max Christie's got to play. He's got to be a starter, and he's got to play big minutes because the problem with the Lakers right now is they're playing guys out of necessity, not luxury. Cam Reddish, Jared Vanderbilt, and Rui Hachimura are players that are going to get pretty good minutes. And if one of those players aren't playing well, then Darvin Ham could say, let me pull one of these guys. I'm going to have somebody else play in their place. They don't have that right now. So for me, I can't look at this team, nobody can, and say, well, watch out for the Lakers, just give them a month. But can I just give them a month to see when these guys are in what it looks like? Because I don't think it will be the same product.
I think that's fair. But I keep LeBron and AD, generally speaking, have been pretty good, if not very good.
And they've played
that's
basically every game.
They've played every game.
I think each guy's missed one game.
Right. They're playing virtually every game and playing at a pretty high – and in LeBron's case, other than a couple of clunkers here and there, whatever, LeBron's playing at a super high level. He's playing at a LeBron level, okay? That says what we needed them to be. And yet they're 11-9. And they haven't beaten a team that you look at and say, yeah, that team could win a conference title. That team could win an NBA championship. They haven't beaten one of those teams.
And they're getting their asses kicked.
They're getting their asses kicked by those teams.
Yeah.
So your best players are playing like this. I agree with you, Slee. I think that getting your supporting cast back matters a great deal for all the reasons you said. But are those guys going to make that much of a difference? That's the question that I have.
Well, let me. I think I can answer it for you. I don't think those guys are going to come back and now you're going to beat Philly by 14, right? Like, I don't think that's going to happen. But I think how bad it's looked in some of these games will not look like that anymore. And here's the one, I think, the beauty of the position that the Lakers are in. They're lucky today is December 1st.
Yeah.
And that they're going to still get, in 2 months, in 60 days from now, they'll still have a week and a half before the trade deadline, and I think that's something that at least they get a little bit more of a sample size.
If we're doing like a 1 to 10 thing, right? 1, no concern at all for where they are, and 10, they're dead in the water. This is a disaster. It's never going to happen. 4.5.
I'd probably even go a little higher.
Yeah, but I'm more there because of the calendar, right? It's December 1st.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. You get to January 1st and it still looks like this, then I think it moves higher for me. But it's at the beginning of the year, it's like, no, I think they're going to be pretty good. Let's just see what it is.
Yeah.
And LeBron, AD, good. LeBron, AD, healthy, and you're still not beating anybody. That's
fair.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That is a weird combination of events. All right, Oregon-Washington, Pac-12 championship game tonight. Also the final Pac-12 game, at least for the long foreseeable future.
So with the Pac-2, do they just keep playing each other?
They play each other 12 times a year.
Got it.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Nick Saban has thoughts on the college football playoff and who should get in. And Oregon feels like a slam dunk to everything I've read, and I don't know why. That's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Taking the right settlement, and if not, they go to trial and they win 98% of the time. So if you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, make the call that I've made, make the call that my friends have made, and make the call that my family has made. Make the call to Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION, 1-800-900-0000, and sweetjames.com.
Steve
Got a tweet here from Big E in the Trav and Slee community, and he writes, only serial killers drive for hours in silence and take pictures of laundromats.
Yep. Any issues? I don't think there's anybody, even in the back, nobody. I think everybody.
What was the reason for taking the pictures of the laundromats?
Because it's nice.
No, I mean,
you want to see it?
The picture.
Go do your thing, because I want to figure it out.
Wait,
I don't. Yeah,
so
take your time.
I missed, but so you're driving around taking pictures of laundromats?
No, there's a restaurant.
Alan had to get up.
That Susan and I go to.
Yeah.
That right across the street, they just opened a new laundromat. That's clean. It looks like an Apple store. It's clean. It's all chrome. It's great.
Looks like a laundromat.
No,
please.
I'll show you.
It's a laundromat.
It's fantastic. And so,
Greg, we already know your feelings about laundromats. You don't spend time there. You just go to the Fluff and Fold, right?
No, I get the Fluff and Fold picked up.
Right.
Like
So you didn't
I
go.
put a bag. I put it in a
He doesn't
bag
even-
outside my door. It gets picked up and dropped off the next day.
So I take a picture out
I
in
hate
front
laundry.
with me and Susan because I like the laundromat, and then I send it to my friends like Slee who think
Do your
that
thing.
laundromats
I don't know
are
what's
weird.
going on here.
Wait,
How
Help
nice
me
this
out.
is.
No, wait. Okay, you took a picture. You guys went.
Look how
to
happy
the
they
laundry.
look.
It's across the street
Look
from
how
the restaurant.
happy
We go
they
for a
look.
walk
Okay,
after our
sure.
meal.
Which I like that. I like the
Yeah,
walk
that's great.
after the.
By the way, the walk after dinner is wonderful.
It's a great idea. Just don't stop at the laundry.
Why
bit.
not?
What is? Like, who are you sending that to? Or are you going to
Greg and Brian.
Are you going to?
What up,
G Fish and Brian Beckner.
Hold on. So are you going to look back on this picture in 15 years and say, "Oh, look at that laundromat"?
Do you remember what?
That was such a wonderful
Yes,
night.
I was going to say.
Yes.
I don't think that's even a question. He's bringing it up now so comfortably and so confidently. Of course, 15 years
Like
he's
you're
going
just
to look
searching
back
through your
on
phone.
it.
It's the nicest laundromat
remember
I've
this
ever
night
seen.
We were at the laundromat. It was such a
clean it
wonderful
is.
picture.
It's a nice place. It's a nice place.
There's a
There's
twinkle
small
in his
toys.
eye.
This
Emily understands.
I love a good clean laundromat.
I mean, like, that's fine. That's fine to love a clean laundromat.
I will go and travel to different neighborhoods to go to see the best laundromat. Like if I'm going to go to the laundromat, I'm going to go to a different neighborhood.
okay.
Right, but you're going to use the service of the laundromat. Trav is just taking a photo outside of the laundromat, and he's not going in. Okay?
I'm oddly looking forward to the next time my washing machine dies. And right now the door is like wonky. So it's the door that kind of swings out like this. It's not on the top, it's in the front. So it swings out and the hinge is detaching from the body of the washing machine.
Oh
so
my God.
it's just a matter of time until
That's
the whole
been at
thing
my
breaks.
family's house for like almost probably 10 years
Oh,
at this
good.
point since I was in high school. So we have a nail that we put in to close the
haven't
door.
gone to the nail yet.
And so it's just we have a little wedge.
Have you ever seen, there's a guy, let me just explain this real quick, because I think this is what Travis is going to end up doing. There's a guy on, it's like Instagram or TikTok or something like that, and he says that he purposely like unplugs things around the house so that he can show his wife thinks that he's going to actually repair it. So let's just use the washer and dryer. He'll just literally unplug the back of it, or he'll take like one of the hoses off, and then she'll go to use it, and she's like, "Hey, babe, it's not working."
Broken again.
He goes, "I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it."
That's
Okay,
genius.
listen.
This is genius.
So then he'll go like behind. Forget the. Pick any item where he's going to need a screwdriver or something like that, and he just starts
Like it's the
making
sink.
noise. Just starts making noise with
Tapping.
it. Okay,
Gotta sell it.
all that stuff, and then he's like, "Babe, I got it." And she's like, "When did you become such like a good handyman?" He's like, "That's just what I do." He didn't repair anything.
That's amazing.
It's
I can see
completely
you
genius.
unplugging the back of the laundry.
Just to go to the laundromat.
Babe, it's not working. I'm going to go to the laundry.
So I need to know, do you have, those picture frames that the pictures just automatically go by?
yeah.
Do you have one of those that just pictures of different laundromats?
It's a good idea. I don't, but that's a good idea.
I think you should take
Laundromats, tacos, things
Martinis.
that you really love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, martinis.
And
I
old
understand.
baseball cards.
A
These
good-
are the things I'm interested in.
A picture of a good martini, I completely understand.
How many do you want to see?
I'll see
martini,
all
we
of
know
them.
you
I will actually watch that
But both
slideshow.
give Travis joy, so
Thank you,
don't
Emily.
yuck his yum.
Thank you. See, when she's not
I'm going
insulting
to
me,
yuck the
she's on
young
my
of
side.
taking a picture of a laundromat because I hate them so much.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. Why
Actually,
are you in here?
I don't know. Why are you in here?
Because you pay me to be.
I do. It's true.
Yeah, I'm just saying. We come in here every day.
if
You
you
just
want me to be-
periodically wander in.
Probably
It
just
was
stay
it
here.
was
You're
it
good.
was it was Friday, and I
Tell us,
like a lot
hang
of the
out.
stuff was already done. I was
Relax.
like, I'm
Have some
gonna
of my coffee.
Come hang out
I
with
just
my
got a brand new coffee.
Hang out with
Weren't-
BC
Weren't
here.
you curious? Al, you just kind of was here all of a sudden.
Well, I did. I got thrown off a little because the time that you came in. Because sometimes, usually you're
usually
coming
wait.
in. Usually,
UCLA, Dodger.
right, or you're coming in on a
Upset with
on
Emily for
Factor
playing
Cap
Charlie
or
Puth.
something like that.
Oh, right.
or something.
You keep on with Puth 710. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. Someone got upset with me, Emily, yesterday for saying like, "How stop playing Charlie Puth? We had enough Taylor Swift, and now you're playing Charlie Puth." I'm like, I said, they're making fun of me, and it's funny.
also
So
played
stop.
Charlie Puth.
Do you
Relax.
really
Two
like that
times.
music?
I don't mind it.
Okay.
It's not terrible.
Driving.
I'm
and
not
just,
going to
like,
listen to it,
like-
but it's not like
There was a time.
It wasn't
there was
the
a
worst
time
thing I've
when
heard.
I listened to that and Harry Styles, and like there was just some of the. Yeah, see, like some of this is just.
It's
when
not
I'm
like
driving.
offensive, but it's also
No.
not the least bit.
No, it's not.
Soulful.
but it's,
No.
it's got some rhythm to it.
It's
you
just
know,
relaxing. It was just sometimes you want to listen to some weird stuff.
This lines up more with you being a good dancer than I think anything else. That's just kind of you have a gear that I am unfamiliar with, right? The dancing gear, the music gear. It's
like
fine.
it's a
It's just a
beat kinda
lane
thing.
that I did not
And also-
know you have.
And also, like Charlie Puth is one of those dudes that I've seen interviews with him where he has is it called perfect pitch?
Yeah, he'll hear something be dropped, and he's like, "Oh, that's an A flat," and he can whatever.
Yeah, you can tap the side of a coffee cup with just a little bit of water. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's a F sharp."
And he makes that kind of music.
Yeah, and he takes things around the house like the light switch songs. He flipped the light switch on and he thought, "Huh, that could make a good song."
It's really annoying.
Well, that's just one of those things that people can hear, right?
Yeah.
Like you just
Yeah.
either can or can't do that.
See, you find it annoying.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually kind of cool.
Exactly.
I'm-
I'm yucking your yum. I apologize.
Yes, you are.
I don't think I've ever heard that. I like that.
Yucking your yum?
I didn't even know that was a thing you
Oh,
could do.
I
know
love
I
that
like
saying.
to do that, but I didn't know there was a name for it.
He's like, I'm a big fan of ruining what you like.
It's
I think I stole
arguably
it from
my
the Can
favorite thing
Brothers
to do.
again.
Oh, yeah.
It's one like somebody that's really excited about something. You go, it's like it's one of my.
I've been
all-time-
receiving that a lot.
I
love
love
the
that.
laundromat.
So why is that?
Yeah, you're giving it, but see, I don't give a damn. I like what I like.
Yeah,
Why
but
is
you're,
that so
you're
different
passionate
than-
about the laundry.
Oh,
mat.
yeah.
yeah.
Why is it so different than liking pranks? Like I really enjoy seeing and doing pranks, but you hate them so much.
You knock yourself out. Just don't do one to me.
So don't do it to me of yucking my yum.
Nah, it's more fun for
He's
me.
a prank
Oh,
guy.
but see, this is more fun for me.
Not to me, it's not.
You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start unplugging everything in the studio.
That is
and
such
then
a
say,
good deal.
Guys, I got it.
That is
I
such
got
a
it.
good deal. I'm gonna try that.
You should do that.
I think
Then
I
I'm
could
gonna-
plug something back in.
Then have conversations with 710. I'm like,
you
look,
should
guys, I'm not just an on-air guy. I'm also doing a lot of the behind the
Your IT.
scenes.
What if
I
we
would
start
I would
throwing
love for you to
breakers?
do that instead of me. So let's start doing that because then when something broke, hey Greg,
Oh, I don't know
can
what's
you
going
fix
on.
the, can you fix the Comrex?
I don't know what's going on.
Anthony Rincon on Twitter says, let's see the laundromat photo, Trav. When I was in the Navy, the laundry on base was the place to be. All right,
Throw it
Anthony,
up there.
I'm going to send it to you. That's
But
coming
don't throw the one up there of just the laundry
I'm going
mat.
to do both.
Also, send the Navy laundry too. We might like that one as well.
Yes, show me the on the naval like San Diego. There you go, the Navy city. Send us your Navy San Diego Navy pictures. That's what we're all about. The laundry specifically.
I'm very
Ask
frustrated
Slee
with this.
and a little bit of Brian coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, have you gotten out to Rotolo Chevrolet yet? You should, because here's what you get when you go to Rotolo Chevrolet. You get Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. Think about it like this. Do you know any athlete that's won MVP 13 years in a row? Of course not. Do you know any team that's won 13 championships in a row? Of course not. But that's what Rotolo Chevrolet has done. Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row because they have all of the selection, they have incredible pricing, and world-class customer service. In fact, the customer service is what makes people come back time after time after time. It's courteous, it's transparent, it's upfront. You're going to feel great about it. How do I know? I bought a car from Rotolo Chevrolet, and it's everything that you've heard. You're going to feel good. You're going to tell your friends, hey, you looking for that? Hey, you got to go to Rotolo Chevrolet. See a Silverados, every make and model that you can think of, and Mike Capozio and his team are going to make sure that you feel awesome about your purchase. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit in Fontana. You can go online at rotolochevy.com. That's ROTOLO, rotolochevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
Ask Slee, and Ask Slee is presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal, voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
All right, of course, you can call in with your Ask Slees, 877-710-ESPN, or you can send them in via Twitter. Let's start with Optimus Prime Rib. Slee, hashtag Ask Slee.
That's a great name.
When Sliwa's hands are full and he needs to open a door, do you set down what you're carrying, or do you try to use just your fingertips to open the door?
Man, I'm already frustrated at myself because I'm such an idiot when it comes to stuff like this. Just make 2 trips to the car, bro. Why are you trying to grab everything? And the same thing here, especially trying to get into the condo complex. Like the key to get to the lobby, it's a lot of work. There's a lot going on. Bro, I'm trying to use every last fingertip that I have to make it. Put the stuff down. Just put the stuff down, you dumbass.
Okay, when you go to the grocery store, and I don't know, because you and Michelle, but
yes,
you try to carry every single bag in on the first try, right?
Okay,
so when we do the big shopping for the family, right? So there could be 10 or 12 grocery bags in the back of the car. Take 3 trips. It's an extra, tops.
2.5 minutes.
Tops. It's not. It's probably an extra a minute and a half.
Okay. With that being said, are you taking way too much stuff trying to make one trip?
Yes, 100%.
Are you taking way too much stuff? What is
challenge.
wrong with us? You are right. There's one in every, I think there was a study done. Harvard did the study on this exactly.
Was it Harvard?
Good use of their time.
Princeton?
1 of 188 people are smart, and they say, I'm going to take multiple trips.
I'd like
All
to
of
see
us other
that
ones
study.
It comes out next week. It'll be out next week.
Em, you got one?
Yeah, I got one. So this is from Jacob. He says, have you ever gotten super lost? And if so, what happened?
Is this
Super lost.
phones?
It's whatever super lost is to you.
All right, I'm trying to think here. One time we went hiking, Havasu Falls, I think is what it's called.
Oh, is that the one? Is that underneath the
Grand Canyon?
I've always wanted to go there.
Incredible. My buddy Robbie, who's first cousins with Kellen came on yesterday. That's kind of that connection, right? Robbie's got the whole trip planned out, guys. We're good to go. We're just going to go out there, and then we're going to come back. So we got, we stayed the night in a tent, and you're basically going to go, I think he thought it was about 12 miles total, or maybe 11 miles total. What he did not know is that it's 11 miles in and 11 miles out.
Hiking?
Something like that.
Or driving?
Hiking.
Okay.
This is all Havasu Falls.
It looks amazing down there,
It's
by
in
the
the
way.
Grand Canyon. I might be wrong. Maybe it's he thought it was 8 miles.
A lot farther than he thought.
Yeah, 8 miles, and it's actually 16 or something along those lines. So once we get all the way out there, Trav, we get all the way to the end, and by the time we finally got there, he miscalculated the whole thing. It was a lot longer, and we don't have any equipment to stay the night.
But you ended up in the right place.
We ended up in the right place, but we had to come back. On our way back, it's dark now. So, there were times where we're I think it's this way.
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. It literally, this is the areas where you have a search team come out if you go out for miles or something along those lines.
Around.
That's the one that I'm thinking of. Because now, too, with your phone, Waze will get you anywhere.
All right, let's try a phone Ask Slee. Let's go to Thomas in Los Angeles. Thomas, you're up next. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
All right.
Good, man. Thank you.
All right, Slee, so you seem like a pretty cool dude. So I'm just wondering if you picture yourself walking anywhere down the street or in the mall and you trip over that unknown, mysterious thing that trips us as we're walking. Are you the guy who first looks to see what tripped you, look to see who saw you trip, or play it off like nothing happened?
All right, so play it off like nothing happened is the worst thing that I think you can do.
Why?
That's exactly what I would do.
I like to look around, and if somebody saw it, I give them a wave, kind of like that
bad.
just happened.
You're like the guy who jumps up and says, I'm okay.
No, it's not. It's like that just happened. You just witnessed it. I'm an idiot. I tripped over, just a little crack on the side of the road. I might as well just kind of accept that I look stupid, and I'm going to wave it off. Because playing it off, there's a guy one time that I saw, and he was sitting somewhere, and he's stretching. right? And he stretches back too far and literally flips all the way over, Trav. He flips all the way over and he's on the floor. And he gets up and starts doing one of these like, oh, I was just stretching. That was part of my stretch.
See, that's funny too. I like that too. I like doing that too.
Great.
Yeah.
It's funny, but he was trying to make it look like that's actually part of his
that's
stretch.
the move.
Yeah, that is
Just
100% the
like
move.
That's,
I'm waving.
You're looking to pick something like
oh, yeah.
Is that, I thought that was a
Pointing
$5
over.
bill
Did you
on the
guys see
ground.
that? Did you guys see that over there?
All right, this one's for you, Brian. Brian's in for Jorge today. Producer Brian. It says, is a hot dog an appetizer? That's from GFish21.
This is an important question, by the way.
An appetizer? No.
Of course it's not.
And then
Of course
you guys
it's
are
not.
never going to be friends
Of
again.
course it's not.
It's
Thank
a
you,
meal.
Brian. Thank you.
One hot dog.
I mean, one hot dog is a small meal or a snack, but it's not an
but that's
appetizer.
he can't throw the quantity of the hot dogs because he'll have 2 hot dogs and call that an appetizer.
No. See, double dog, that's a meal.
So you come over to my house, okay? We're gonna make burgers and stuff on the grill. We're gonna do okay. And so we're out there, we're having a beer, we're just hanging out, and we're chit chatting, and I just throw a couple of dogs on that grill, and they cook faster than burgers, and I put my Brian, here you go, have one of these just to warm up. You're gonna say no?
No, I'm eating it right there. But
That's right.
I'm not
That's
You
an
can have a hot dog and a hamburger as
Right.
your meal.
But we're not
Right,
serving them
exactly.
to you at the same time. Look, chicken wings could be an appetizer or a meal. It depends on the order of operations and how many.
Wow, you stumped me there.
Right?
Yeah.
Brian,
Would you
thought
like
about
to
it like
change
that.
your answer?
No, I'll stick with the
Okay.
I'll stick with the meal though.
your gut, you always go with your gut.
Yeah.
You're right on your gut there.
You would eat that what out of that hot dog, and then when I gave you the burgers, you'd be like, "Thank you,
destroy
Trav.
that
That's a
too.
good
Okay.
burger."
First off, I already envisioned the whole thing, you barbecuing, him getting up around 12:30 and just kind of slowly strolling in, having a beer and
If you
eating
don't
some
have
dogs.
whatever you're making as your main course going here, and then the dogs just off to the side getting ready, you're doing it wrong. That's all I'm saying.
I tend to lean towards Trav here. That is 100% an appetizer, especially the way he presented it.
Don't
You
understand
can't go away from it. That's an appetizer.
All right, here's one more.
Ribeye is an appetizer.
I mean, a piece of one could be.
Yes,
If
like
you eat
slice.
it
If it's a
early
slice,
enough. Right. If it's like a little steak tartare as an appetizer,
Exactly.
a lot of times they use ribeye for that.
it's right there.
It's a 12-inch sub from Jersey Mike's. That's an appetizer.
Not a 12-inch,
No.
but a 4-inch could be.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's an
4-inch could
appetizer.
be, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Let's cut that thing.
Now, like the little sausages, those
The
are
little
appetizers.
cocktail weenies?
Yeah,
those
are
are pretty
appetizers.
good.
Those
Like
are
the
good.
pigs in the blanket kind of
great.
deal. Yeah,
Those are
that's
appetizer too. Yeah.
My wife,
But that's
who
a hot dog.
eats healthy, right?
Debatable.
She does CrossFit. She eats healthy. She does all this
CrossFit?
stuff. She loves pigs in a blanket. Go figure.
She's in the cult.
Doesn't make any sense. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For like 15 years.
You ever do CrossFit?
Yeah.
15 years?
Yeah.
So she's basically like started CrossFit.
Do you know how you can tell if somebody's in CrossFit? You don't have to ask. They'll tell you.
So I was doing CrossFit the other day, doing a bunch of reps.
You know what you could really
They are
use
pretty fit
is
people.
CrossFit.
Yeah, they're all injured and very fit. Those are the two things that you could do. Aaron Palmer writes,
High intensity.
between deep frying a turkey and putting up Christmas lights, are the 2 weeks, are those the two most dangerous weeks of the year for an ambitious dad?
I think you can answer that better because I'm not putting up Christmas lights. I don't have a house to do that in. And deep frying a turkey, I've never done that before. I know you haven't. You said you've never deep fried a
It
turkey.
scares
as
me a
well.
little bit.
Yeah.
I've seen too many videos of backyards getting burned to the ground because
Sure.
the turkey was a little wet when it went into the oil. It's ladders, just generally speaking,
Yeah, you're
are
right about
pretty
that.
treacherous. And somebody like myself who is a little scared of heights and who is not great on a ladder to begin with, absolutely. That's why Susan
That's fair.
does the Christmas lights in our house too.
fair.
Just-
Really?
Oh yeah. We all have our lanes. She does I do the tree. She does the lights.
He goes to laundromat.
It's usually so opposite.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to do the lights.
I don't want to get on a ladder.
Let's make a deal. You come take my Peloton. I will go over to you and do the lights.
I will drive to your place. I will park the truck wherever you tell me to park it. You can put whatever you want in the back of the truck,
No,
and I
someone
will
else will do
drive
that
it to
part.
wherever you want it to go. I'm not taking that Peloton out of your
It's not that
apartment.
heavy.
Then do it yourself.
Just don't
No,
bend.
absolutely not.
Don't bend your knees. Use all your back.
It's not. It is
a good idea.
absolutely not happening.
It's always
All
the way to go.
Pac-12 championship is tonight. Oregon seems to be in if they win, and while I hope that's true, I don't quite get why it's true. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
All right, Brian, so you were with us for a period of time, so you probably remember this. Typically, we like to have a little bonus Ask Slee, Ask Brian after we're done with it.
Okay.
So you ready for a little bonus Ask Brian?
Let's do it.
All right, here it is. This is from Raider Rubin. Do you miss Ireland when he's not on the show due to Laker games and only have Mace to deal with?
I like to hear this answer, too.
I don't know. I would say yes, just because them together is great. Like
Okay.
the combo of the two of them is the best.
There is something, though, and I when you have a different, because you and I and Emily and Jorge are here 98% of the time,
Yep.
right? But when that other person comes in, it does change the energy a little bit.
It does, yeah.
And not that you want it forever, but just one day it's like a little bit of a different.
It is kind of
ebb and
nice to
flow.
change the routine,
Yeah.
change the breakup, and every now and then.
All I hear is he doesn't like Ireland.
That's what I heard, too, and I'm going to tell. Ireland's
John,
probably
love you.
listening right now, and he's going to
Yep.
come in today. Actually, he's going to be at home, but he's on today.
Okay.
But
All
from-
I heard was Trav celebrates when I'm not here. We all heard different things.
Well, that's just true.
We
I
all
mean,
heard different
There's
things.
balloons. He brings balloons and donuts and
And
cake.
what does Mace say when John's not here? Dad's gone.
Dad's
that's
good.
right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, but
right.
you want that around.
That's
Right,
awesome.
exactly.
He brings balloons and cake.
Al Jimenez on Twitter replying to I posted the pictures of my laundromat.
I want to see
Okay.
it.
And Al Jimenez says, "Wow, I could live there." See, Al's member of Team Trav, Team Emily, that's pro laundromat. And Team Bergman, you're not
I like
anti-laundromat.
I'm not okay. See, I don't mind. Like, I will do my laundry at a laundromat when I don't get it picked up, but that just doesn't happen. But I always do go to the laundry. I don't care what the laundromat looks like. It's not something where I'm like,
look,
No, he's got an
I mean,
eye.
I go to a
He's
laundromat
got-
that probably not so great.
He's got an eye for laundry. bins.
the B laundromat in my neighborhood, Wally's. You're gonna keep your head on a swivel in Wally's.
In Orange County, are you ever keeping your head on a swivel?
Yes.
Says people take socks out there.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
take one sock.
Take your chonies right out of the washing machine. The other one you could probably eat off the floor. It's immaculate.
Sure.
It's perfect. It's a great spot.
What if they served martinis there?
I would get an apartment
Yep.
in the back room. I would
Yep.
in the supply closet with all the Bounce and Tide. I would just set up shop back
Would
there.
you feel
bartender
comfortable
inside.
folding your clothes in this laundromat?
Is this a trick question?
Yeah, because I don't always feel comfortable.
I
folding the
always
clothes.
fold my clothes in the laundromat.
I normally do, but some of
Yeah.
the ones that I
Good
go
to do when
to
they're
are
warm,
probably
you know?
not the best ones. And
Yeah.
Well, when they come out of the dryer, they're still warm, and you fold them, they don't get wrinkled.
right.
Yeah.
No, I'm big.
But if you
proponent of
throw them in the bin and then you take them home, by the time
And
you
And
get
then
there,
wait a week
they're
and just
permanently wrinkled.
using let's get one pair of underwear right here.
that. I used to get
Smith
mad
Bobby.
at my ex-wife because she would do the laundry and just throw it on the bed and just let it sit there for hours. I'm like, it's getting wrinkled. It's
And
driving
let me
nuts.
guess what her response is. Then fold it.
Yes.
That
But
doesn't seem
it was
complicated
more so.
to me.
Have you ever done it?
I came home and that's how
So
it was.
back in the days, now with Michelle, this is not the case, but back in the days, I would take the laundry. It would kind of force me to do it right away. I just throw everything on the bed. I'm like, all right, well, now I have no choice but to do this because I'm not going to sleep with the clothes are sitting on the
Push
bed.
it over to the side a little bit.
You know what ended up happening? Well, every once in a while, I just got sleeping. Go ahead, and I'll just do that tomorrow.
Do you slide them onto the floor, or do you put them leave them on the bed?
I'd leave them on the bed. I would just push them to the side. Michelle would never do that, nor would she ever allow that.
They're
But
better at things than we
No.
are. Goes without saying. All right, Oregon, Washington
Smarter
tonight.
than we
Pac-12 championship, final Pac-12 game ever, right?
Yeah.
I know that Oregon State and Washington State are going to own the brand, but there really won't be a Pac-12 conference in any meaningful way.
What are they going to do with that? Like, hey,
They're
let's
gonna
bring in
try
San
to-
Jose State.
They're going to try to bring together a kind of a weird quasi-conference in conjunction with the Mountain West. They're where Oregon State and Washington State will remain members of the Pac-12, the only members of the Pac-12, and play a Mountain West schedule.
Do they
and each other.
Do they feel like the Pac-12 will make a comeback? And
Can
they're
I
going to be
say
the
this?
two that are still
I
there.
Actually, I don't think it's a terrible idea what they're trying to do. Now, something just went down with, I think, the Supreme Court. Washington was representing all the remaining Pac-12 schools, and the finances that are still up in the air is what they're trying to figure out. Who has control of those finances for the remainder until actually everybody leaves? Supreme Court actually ruled in favor of Washington, which represents the rest of the Pac-12 schools. But I don't think it's a bad idea that brand has been around for so long. I'm not telling you today it makes sense, but just potentially keeping that brand around, who knows what happens in college football.
That's it for me. It's somebody needs to own the brand because some way,
Who
shape,
knows
or form,
what
it's coming
happens?
back. Not anytime soon, and certainly not like we've known it before.
But look
It's
how
coming
much
back.
has changed over the last 10 years in college football.
For sure.
Why is it coming back? I mean, because this eventually we're going to get to a two-party system in college football. It's going to be SEC and Big Ten, and
Probably.
that's what it is. It's East versus West is just called SEC and Big Ten. That's what we're eventually getting to.
I think so.
We're not going to have these Pac-12, Big West, ACC.
You're still going to
Big
have
East. All that's going to go away.
Okay.
No, it won't.
I was going
to
to say you can have the two premier conferences and say the two premier is Big Ten and the SEC. But then you have how many other schools that are trying to put themselves under the best third conference or the best fourth conference. I don't know what that alignment's going to look like over years. I don't.
It'll become
You're
an
not going to
Olympic
be
conference.
competing with them, but that's okay.
It'll become a conference of Olympic sports. It won't be a conference of basketball and football. That's going to be exactly what you're talking about.
All right.
But it'll be a
that's
baseball
fair.
conference. It'll be a golf, a tennis,
Soccer.
a
I
swimming,
think
a
baseball,
soccer.
baseball eventually switch over to the other one too. Baseball, football, basketball are going to be the three.
Those schools. I'm not saying that Cal might, but UCLA, SC, Oregon, and Washington, they're probably gone for good. But the rest of them might look around and say, hey, let's get this thing back together and we'll play our own little version of
100%.
football over here. Because Colorado and Utah, they're not going into these other major conferences and going to compete. They're just not. So they'll decide,
How
let's
about
come
the
over
schools
here.
that even some of the schools that left? Do you think Arizona State, Stanford, do you think these guys are really comfortable with the position that they're going into? There's no guarantee in 5, 7, 10 years that they decide, is there something else better out there? So I think it's smart of them to just try to keep the brand.
I agree.
Why didn't Stanford? I mean, this is probably a bigger conversation, but why didn't Stanford just go into the Ivy League and just dominate the Ivy League?
They should have.
That's exactly where they play with Princeton and Harvard and just
That's
who you are.
That's who you are. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. They should have.
They should have.
Yeah. Cal could have done it too.
But I mean, Cal.
But the difference is Stanford and Cal, as bad as they are,
They want to be together.
Well, yes, but they're also a lot better athletically than those other schools.
Yeah. No, they would dominate the.
Right. So they fancy themselves real
Good for
athletic
them.
institutions. It's fine, but that's a massive. Academically, it's a perfect fit, but aesthetically and athletically, not so much.
They like to call themselves like Stanford or Harvard of the West or whatever.
No, they're Stanford. They're not even the Harvard of the West.
Yeah, they're
right.
just
They're their
Stanford,
own. They're
yes.
their own thing.
Yeah,
they're their own thing for sure. All right, back to the Pac-12. Everything I've read, everything I've heard, podcast, TV, radio, in all of it. Oregon wins, they're in. The winner of the Pac-12 championship game is automatically in.
They should be.
I hope so, and I think they should be too. But there are multiple scenarios where that isn't true. Like if Alabama beats Georgia, I have a feeling that both of those two teams go to the Final Four. Alabama and Georgia. Hold on. And then Florida State wins, undefeated. If Oregon wins, you got 2 one-loss teams against each other. Texas has a very powerful case. If they win, Michigan is obviously going to take care of their business. They're in. There's a world where Oregon wins this game. Washington wins, they're in, no doubt about it. Oregon wins, it's unlikely, but this assumption that win and in, I think there's a pitfall there.
If Alabama beats Georgia, do you think Bama's in?
Yes, I do. I think they'll always take 2 SEC teams over.
So I think Alabama and Georgia, I would still put in. Okay, so if Bama beats Georgia, I still put both of those schools in.
And then Michigan's in.
Okay, so Michigan's in. That's 3. Now you're down to 1 school left. I lean with you on this because maybe I'm more of an outlier when it comes to this. If Florida State goes undefeated, I just don't know how they're not in.
Oh, they might leave them out.
So let's say Oregon wins.
Yeah.
They got 1 loss against Washington. Texas has 1 loss. But we already just put Bama and Georgia in with Michigan. I think Florida State's grabbing that 4th spot. So I think there's a scenario where Oregon doesn't get in.
I disagree with that. I think of all the teams, if everybody has a case, right? Mm-hmm. Alabama's a 1-loss team. Georgia's a 1-loss team. Oregon's a 1-loss team. Washington's a 1-loss team. Texas is a 1-loss team. Oh, and then Florida State would be undefeated in this scenario. They're the odd man out, I think, because Texas's 1 loss was to a rival, right?
Yep.
In Oklahoma, I know wasn't great, but it's still the Red River Shootout or whatever they're calling it now. The Pac-12 other than the SEC, is probably the best conference in the country this year. So those teams have a very powerful argument. I agree with you, Al. I think both of those SEC teams, the ACC, way down this year, and they don't have their quarterback. Now, if they put him in, I'm not going to jump up and down and say this is absurd, but I think they're the most likely team to get the shaft.
I think the playoff committee has shown in the past that they will take what they believe is the 4 best teams, not record-wise.
Did you think they did that last year when TCU got in?
They got to the final. They beat Michigan in the semifinal, so it
but
wasn't
for the most part, they usually go with who they
it.
think is the 4 best. And maybe they thought TCU was the 4 best.
And if that's what they thought, and they were right.
Yes.
They beat Michigan in the semifinal. And they didn't kill them, but it was
I
convincing.
have a very difficult time thinking that. I get it. Look, money for show, TV, power of the conferences, the fan base that comes with one school. What the hell do you want Florida State to do if they go undefeated in a Power 5 conference? And I'm not trying to make a case that the ACC is something special, but literally they would go undefeated and not get in?
Yes, what you just said. Hey, great season. Sorry, they're better. Better luck next time.
See, I think there's an issue in there, too, though, that comes with the SEC. There is an SEC bias in a lot of these things. The SEC,
but the bias
hold on.
real.
The SEC, okay, it's real, but the SEC this season is not as strong as a conference as some of the other conferences.
Maybe it's not as deep, but the top's still very, very good.
It's always like that, but they're all so that's where
here's some numbers for you.
One of them should be out.
An SEC team has won the national championship 4 years in a row. An SEC team has played in the final, 6 of the 9 times, won the championship 6 of the 9 times that they've had the college football. They're not going to leave them out, which is why what Nick Saban said was so weird. This is from the SEC championship game press conference.
In the top 15.
And this is what he was talking about, that if Alabama beats Georgia, Pat McAfee, thank you. He told Pat McAfee that, hey, we can't have no SEC teams in the championship. Listen to this.
From the SEC, regardless of who wins the game, absolutely. I think this is one of the best leagues, in the country. And if you're a one-loss team and you play through this league, I think you're one of the best 4 teams in the country. So there's some kind of way there should be representation, some kind of way, because of the league itself and the competition in the league. So. But I don't pay a lot of attention to it because we can't control it, and I don't really want our players to pay attention to it either. I want them to focus on what they have to do to play well and have a chance to be successful in this game and have a chance to win the SEC championship. That's the opportunity they created for themselves.
Okay, this is one of the things that drives. He's arguing in behalf of something that's never going to happen. I want to do this on the other side because Nick Saban might be the greatest college football coach of all time. Might be the silliest thing I've ever heard him say. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. And call in right now, 877-710-3776. Here's your number again, 877-710-ESPN, for your chance to win 2 tickets to the MLS Western Conference Finals between LAFC and the Houston Dynamo, plus an LAFC prize pack with an LAFC hat and a scarf. Call in right now, 877-710-ESPN. If you are hurt in an accident, you got to call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. Here's what it is. Sweet James used to work for the insurance company, so he knows their business inside and out. There are multiple attorneys at Sweet James that are going to look at your case to make sure that they have it covered every which way. Guess who else knows all of this stuff? The insurance companies. So when they see that you're represented by Sweet James, they know that they're not going to be able to run their games, right? They'll be able to offer you next to nothing or nothing at all. That they've got to make a fair offer. And if they still won't, that's when Sweet James goes to trial. That's when they take care of their business 98% of the time. They have got over 500 trials under their belt. That's a lot more than just about everybody else. So why would you call anybody else if you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? It's the reason I called. It's the reason my friends and family have called. If you are hurt in an accident, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
2 opportunities to win tickets to LAFC tomorrow.
Nice.
Play the Houston Dynamo in the Western Conference Finals of the MLS, okay? This is essentially the semifinals. If they win this, they're in the finals, which is amazing. Second year in a row, too. So all you have to do is answer one question and get it right, and then you get the tickets, all right? So if you get the answer right as well, stay on the line. So up first, we have Vincent in Gardena. Hey, Vincent.
Hey, how you doing today?
What's up, Vince?
Hey, what's up? Nice to talk to you guys.
Awesome. So here is your question, okay? If you get it right, you get the tickets. Who is the goalie for LAFC?
Get in there, bro. Get that Google search in. Let's go.
3.
Maxime Crepeau.
Okay, yeah, I'll count it.
Yep.
Maxime Crepeau. Good job,
There you go.
Vincent. Okay.
Good job, Vincent.
Stay on the line, Vincent. I'm going to get your information and enjoy the game tomorrow.
And we got another chance later in the show, right, Ev?
Yes, we have another chance later in the show, so just make sure you know a little bit of LAFC facts.
Yeah. Be ready to go. You got a chance to go.
Call in if you're a big fan, too. That's a big-time game tomorrow.
I don't have to tell AFC fans this. They know that. But maybe if you haven't had an opportunity to go, you will have a great time.
Definitely.
I think everybody knows that I'm not the world's biggest soccer fan. Every time I do go to an LAFC game, it's awesome. It's just a really great evening, afternoon.
There's a lot at stake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, anytime you win, you get to keep going, and not you're done. That's fun. That's fun. Nick Saban has lost his you-know-what, right? There is literally zero scenario where the SEC does not have a representative at the table in the Final Four, right?
It's like saying, hey, Mastro's has good steaks. We know that. We know that. The SEC is a good conference. We're aware.
He does not. What's he lobbying on? Because what he's saying is, hey, look, if we beat them, you can't keep us both out. Well, they're not going to. I think what happens is if Alabama wins, they both are in.
I was going to say it's more likely, if I'm throwing this question at you, Bama beats Georgia, more likely that both are taking 2 of the 4 spots or neither.
Oh, both.
Of course it's both.
I think if you had to rank the things that could happen, right, you've got Georgia goes because they win. You've got Georgia and Alabama go because Alabama won. You have just Georgia goes, unlikely, or just Alabama goes, unlikely. Nobody goes, it's not even on the board. It's not on the board.
There's a case. I'm okay with this. There's certain coaches out there that are trying to make a case from a conference perspective. Maybe they're let's put it this way. An ACC coach trying to make a case, I get it. A Pac-12 coach trying to make a case, I get it. There's certain conferences, no, you got to put that sales hat on. You're trying to sell the committee why your conference is the right conference to make sure that you have representation in. The SEC, my brother, we're sold. We bought timeshares. We're good. Everybody's what did you say? How many SEC championships in the last 4?
So they've won the title.
4?
They've won the last 4.
Yep.
So Georgia 2, Alabama 1, LSU 1.
Okay.
They've won the last 4, and the championship game has featured let me rephrase.
Yeah.
An SEC team has won the championship 6 of 9 years that they've had this.
The last thing anybody needs is let's make a case for us. By the way, if you go look at the rankings right now, Georgia, Alabama, Missouri, Ole Miss, LSU, those are 5 teams in the top 13.
Right.
The conference is fine. No one's they're good.
It's good.
That's a little confusing.
It was a weird argument. I get it. He's always advocating for his team. He's always advocating because here's what he's worried about: them winning
and not getting in.
Yeah, and that is unlikely, I think, but not impossible. I think that there is a scenario where that happens. All right, so I got 2 questions for you. Tell me who you think will be in the Final Four, not who you want. What do you think the last 4 teams standing are going to be?
Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and Oregon.
Okay.
I think it's going to be those 4.
Who'd you like to see?
I'm okay with those 4.
You okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about you? Who do you think will get in?
Who do I think will get in? Again, what's the scenario?
Just whatever you think is going to happen this weekend.
Sure.
By the time we get to Sunday night, who are the 4 teams that are in?
I think it'll be whomever is the SEC champion, so whoever wins that game. If it's Alabama, I do think that they put both Georgia and Alabama in there.
So you got 2 SEC teams.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have 2 SEC teams, and then I have Oregon, if they win, even and then
No,
Washington,
no scenarios.
Just
But
give us who
give me
you think
four
wins.
teams. Give
Yeah,
me
who
four
wins?
teams. No if thens.
Yep.
Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, and
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's a nice Final Four.
I think that's
a nice Final
what
Four.
I want. So so what do you want to see, Em?
What I want to see,
Yeah.
I want to see.
You might have already had it.
I would like to see that because
Yeah.
I think that. But
Yeah.
the whole thing is, I don't want to have an immediate rematch between the SEC teams. So if you can have them on different sides, they match only in the national championship.
Yeah, that's the next step. But I agree with you. I think and hope that that's our four. I want the two SEC teams, and I want Oregon, and I want Michigan.
I want Florida State in.
I think they are the most likely team to be out because they're the least interesting of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Harbaugh thing, and they're really good. That's interesting. Nick Saban's Darth Vader, man. Georgia is the two-time defending national champion.
Mm-hmm.
And Oregon, I think, is one of the four best teams. That's why I think that the Florida State story is what exactly? Other than they've won all their games.
So, but that's I think that's why I just lean on that. You're not wrong. Listen, I get it. TV product. I understand that. How many tickets? Just the power of certain university and everything else.
You know, one of the semifinals was the Rose Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only issue is I want a team who went undefeated in a Power 5 conference to be rewarded in getting to the Final Four. That's all. That's all.
I want the four best teams, and I think that's what the CFP is designed to do. Is to not find the four best records.
Mm-hmm.
It's find the four best records that you also think are the four best teams. That a combination of the two, right?
But can I say that? Aren't there many years where we could, even if there was a team, if you have a one-loss team in the Pac-12 versus a two-loss team in the SEC, isn't the better school usually the SEC school with two losses?
Typically.
Right, so
But you have to add an eye test and everything too. So
yeah, but
you know,
just the power of the comp. Like if Oregon tomorrow was in the SEC, how many losses do you think they have?
One or two.
I mean, probably at least two.
Not this team. This team's really good. This is a really typically yes, I would agree. This
how many losses do you think Washington would have in the SEC?
2 or 3.
Yeah, I lean towards 2 or 3.
Yeah,
probably 3.
They have a 40-year-old quarterback who's been in college football for 146 years. He's really chill, right? I know he was in the SEC when he was a freshman at Auburn, and he's played there. But this is a different guy than the guy who was there. He's a man, right? He's a man playing with against much younger.
He literally
guys.
retires after this. He's cashing out his 401k.
It's a big deal. Look at who the two quarterbacks in the Pac-12 are. They're both sixth-year guys. It's not a coincidence. Penix came from Indiana.
Yeah.
Nix comes from Auburn. You know, Nix has a really good chance, I think, to win the Heisman Trophy if they win tomorrow night. They're really good. They have a lot of NFL caliber talent. I don't think they'd win the SEC, but I also don't think they'd be like, oh yeah, they'd be 7-5. I don't think it'd be like that.
This weekend's so good.
What's the best one?
Alabama, Georgia is the best one,
Yeah.
and that just kind of stays on an island on its own. But I don't even there's no that's the best one. But Washington, Oregon tonight, that's a fun game too. That's a fun game. I think we both agree. You said the line went up? You said it went up to 10?
Went up to 10.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it went up a half a point.
my favorite chaos scenario though would be is if for some reason Iowa beats Michigan. That would be my favorite chaos scenario.
Okay, let's say that happens.
Yeah.
Michigan's out.
100% they're out. Does Ohio State sneak in that scenario?
I don't think you can.
But
Why
yeah.
not?
I think you can.
I don't know.
By
You're not
winning,
putting Iowa in.
I know
No.
you're not, but just by not winning your conference, let's say Michigan is out
But
of the
they
mix.
lost a really close game on the road
Yep.
to a really, really good
team that hurts them losing, like it hurts their resume with them losing to
But
Iowa.
what if it's a weird game? Michigan loses 10-9.
Okay, can I play this out for you?
J.J. McCarthy twists his knee and he's out.
Let's say the only
they're not on the
upset.
CFP.
Let's say the only upset loss is that the Michigan loses to Iowa, so Michigan's then out. I love how we've literally worked in 380 scenarios in our head, but that's what's so exciting about this weekend. With that being said, it's Georgia beats Alabama, so there's one spot. Michigan, like we said, is gone. Let's say Oregon ends up beating Washington. There's your second spot. That means Florida State is probably most likely to get in, and it leaves you with one more spot left. I don't know if you're putting Ohio State in. You might. But over some of those other programs also with
Here's
one
the
losses.
question, though. The CFP, again, I want to go back to this.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody think, and I'll ask you because you're the one arguing on their behalf,
Mm-hmm.
do you think Florida State's better than Ohio State?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I don't think anybody that's watched college football this year would argue that they are.
Yeah.
Are they better than Michigan?
No, I don't think so.
No. Are they better than Georgia or Alabama?
But this is the problem. I agree with you, but I could then sit here and make a case over the years that, well, why aren't you just putting more SEC schools into the Final Four?
I don't follow.
Over the years, I think SEC is just, we know the power that they have.
Sure.
I can make a case there's 2 schools out there minimum of the SEC that is of the 4 best schools in the entire country.
But we haven't seen like 2 and 3 loss teams be a part of this conference. I understand that Florida State being undefeated, but nobody's watching Florida State and saying that's one of the 4 best teams. They have one of the 4 best records, but I don't think anybody's making an argument that they're one of the best teams. It may be good enough anyway to get them in.
Mm-hmm.
If we get to Sunday night and is it Sunday night or Monday morning? I think it's Sunday night.
I think Sunday night.
If we get to Sunday night and Florida State's in, it's not going to be this is an outrage.
Yeah.
But if they're out, I get it. Because they're not, in my opinion, one of the 4 best teams.
It'd be Sunday at 11 a.m. is the broadcast.
Yeah.
Oh, Eastern.
Yeah.
So 8 a.m. our time.
There you go. Sunday morning.
Oh, early.
Go Ducks.
Brian will be up. What time are you getting up there, Brian?
Sunday
1:30.
I always get up by 10 for the football games.
Games?
Oh, yeah, that's the only day. I set the alarm. I'm up.
That's why he gets up early.
I know
Sunday morning is his get up early day.
If your Chargers go into Foxborough and lose to
They're
Billy
not.
Zappi
Watch, they're
and
gonna
or
win.
Mac Jones, what happens to your team?
We just leave Staley there. We take Bill back.
That's good.
It's interesting.
I like
That's
that.
an
Yeah,
interesting
it's
philosophy. I think everybody would be okay with that. I
Right.
don't think anybody would object.
Something's
to
got
that.
to change, though, if that happens.
I'll say.
Something's got to change.
Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. That's cap. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys.
Hello.
So Travis.
Yes.
Yesterday was the Golden Bachelor finale.
Did I win?
We all know.
Came so close.
Oh.
So our gal Leslie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
I'm gonna
Leslie
watch it tonight.
Leslie did not win. Teresa ended up winning.
Teresa.
Anyway.
Was it the wrong choice?
I think that he made the wrong choice a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
I think Ellen or Faith were the
Faith.
better options.
Faith
but
was- Faith
don't
was
ask me,
amazing.
Gary.
Which is the one that was with Prince?
That was
That's
Leslie.
Leslie.
He came up
Leslie.
as the runner-up.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the runner-up.
But
So-
Faith was so.
You picked the one that was with
Of
Prince.
course you do.
100%.
Prince knew what he was doing.
personality.
Yes. Like if you're gonna trust somebody, Prince is probably the guy to
Yeah,
trust.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that being
He wrote
said,
a song about her, Greg, which means
One of the songs was about her.
Yes.
Which one?
Do you remember the name of the song?
Sexy
again?
Dancer.
Sexy Dancer.
I don't know that song, but I'm sure it's good because he's always good.
He wrote a song about her, which means he carried a fond memory of
Yes.
his time with her.
or just a memory of her sexy dancing. So
Or that.
Or-
Win-win.
But then you have to live up to that. You have to live up to the sexy dance.
That being said, Golden Bachelor is done for now. They're likely to do it again, probably because it did do really well ratings-wise for the Bachelor franchise. That being said, you would be okay seeing one of your parents being on the Golden Bachelor. Travis, Factor Cap. Obviously, this isn't a world in which they were single.
Sure.
Yes.
It would
Kevin's
be
single.
It would be very, very weird, but I would be okay with it because I would want my mom or my dad to have somebody in their life. It would be super weird. My parents have been married more than, I think, 52 years, right? They've been
That's
married
a long time.
I know. They've been married forever. But, if that were the scenario, yeah, I would want either of them to be happy. It would be weird, but I would want them to be happy.
Berg?
Yeah, I wouldn't care in the slightest. I mean, like my mom's engaged, my dad's married, but if that wasn't the case, have at it. Go do your thing. I can make fun of you while you're on the on the screen.
Al?
Be happy. I don't care.
I'll go Cap, and I think I'm also speaking for my mother. I don't think that would
She would not sign
happen.
up. Yeah,
that,
and you
I
wouldn't
don't-
nominate her.
I don't think that's happening anytime soon, so we'll go Cap on that one.
DC?
Cap, yeah.
I say fact. I mean, my parents have been married for like 35 years, but hypothetically, I think my dad would be pretty hilarious on TV. Yeah. It'd be a fun watch, so I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Like white people versus Middle Eastern.
It's all two different worlds.
Yeah, it's a little
Are you
different.
like your parents, Brian?
I'd say, yeah,
What, like
probably
one
like
more
an
than
even
the other?
mix. Yeah,
An
my dad's
even?
kind of, the funny, crazy guy. My mom was like super smart, so, nice little mix.
All right, there you go. There you go. I like that.
And what about
He
you?
just call himself smart. by the
I
way,
would
just so you
be
hear that.
very okay if either of my parents did.
Who would be a better contestant on the show?
Okay, so it depends on what you want. It depends with the selling. So my dad would be a good bachelor, I believe. Like if he was the Gary role, I think he's funny. I think he's compassionate. I think he's a good listener. So I think he would be a good bachelor man. I think my mom would be a good contestant because I think that she's good at making friends, and I think she loves a lot of the things for the Bachelor is that they want to have deep conversations really fast. I think my mom is someone who likes to do that with everybody that she meets. So I think they would both be good in different areas. But they're still happily married, so hopefully that stays the same. All right, so Parker posted yesterday that he'd had DK Metcalf on his bench.
Oh,
DK
good job,
Metcalf
Parker.
racked up, I
Parker.
think, 40 fantasy points. It's almost like Kyron Williams last week.
At least 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and like
it was
140
insane.
yards, too.
So there's things that, sometimes if I have a bad person on I put someone on my bench that should be not on fantasy, or if I mess up a trivia, it doesn't keep me up at night, but it's something that sticks with me. I'm like, why did I mess that up? Oh, no. So there is something that's not a big deal that keeps you up at night. Berg, Factor Cap.
I mean, I live inside my head, so it happens all the time. So yes, I can't pinpoint one specific thing. What I want to know is who was he playing instead of DK Metcalf? Like, was there a guy that he decided, oh yeah, I'm gonna play
Parker, talk to us,
Ben
brother.
Skoranek.
Yeah, Ben
You got
Skoranek.
it,
I think he's have a really big day
Defend
against
yourself.
Cleveland this weekend. So DK Metcalf goes onto my bench. I just
Parker?
don't understand why that would be.
Anything?
Pretty funny.
Well, we're trying to get his mic on, but,
but
it's okay.
Okay, but
Have
either
the-
way, that's just ridiculous, and I can't think of who you could possibly be playing that would. No.
Poor guy.
DK doesn't get onto the field this week.
As a general manager, he can't even like address the audience and tell everyone why.
Parker, just text me because we're having trouble getting the fader up. Yeah. All right. But yeah. Al, did you answer?
I have not answered yet. Yeah, there are things. I'm gonna give you an example. At no point did that Survivor pool bother me. At no point, week to week, playing in the Survivor, and there was 130, 140 people that started, and the fact that you guys all kind of got knocked out at the same time, and still, I wasn't like overly paying attention. And then the fact that I was following the game that I thought I picked, and it ended up being the wrong game. I had the Minnesota-Chicago game, and I took Minnesota. That bothered me.
What were you following?
I thought I took the Tennessee-Carolina game because I usually picked on Tuesday, like right after, right? Let me make my pick and make sure I don't forget. I thought I picked that game. That one just because it's the most recent, there's a couple days I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, I kind of lost out on some good money here.
Pretty good chunk.
And the team that I thought I picked, I didn't actually pick, and Chicago won.
Trav?
Yeah. When I make a bad choice in a restaurant, it bothers me. I'm not kidding. Like if I get something and it comes out,
I got 2 olives. I should have gotten 3.
Branzino, and it wasn't great.
Right. Like you order the fish and it comes out and you're like, that wasn't great. And then you see something go on the table next to you that looks perfect.
Yep.
You're like, damn, I always get. Why didn't I get that?
And I was going to say, and you're picking between the two,
Yes.
and you took that one instead.
Exactly. So that's the thing that, like you said, low stakes to be sure. Or again, I got my lanes. If I order a drink and it's not exactly what I wanted, I'm not a send it back guy. I'm going to drink it, but it bothers me.
So
if it's a little bit off, it's like, remember that martini we got 2 weeks ago? That thing wasn't good.
Yes.
It'll stick with me.
Before Brian goes, I didn't actually know what Branzino was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I was out on a date. It was the first date, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get the Branzino." I thought it was
How
like,
did you say it?
I thought
I'll
it was
take the Branzino.
The Branzino, but it was
not an Italian fish.
That's what he was
just
saying.
a fish.
Yeah, just a fish. But I didn't realize
Fish don't have
I thought it was a
ethnicity.
Branzino from Italy.
I thought it was like the way that the chicken was cooked or something. I don't know exactly.
You didn't
what
know it was fish?
No, I
You
didn't
thought
know
it
it
was
was
chicken
fish. So I
tenders.
ordered it, and it got there. I was like, oh, jeez.
Do you not like fish?
No, I do. I love fish.
Okay.
So I ate it, but my mind was set on something else.
Emily, is that not the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia
Yeah.
where what's his name has too much cheese?
Yes.
And it's like a first date.
Charlie Day?
Charlie has how much cheese did you eat, Charlie?
Yeah.
I don't know, a block?
He's the best. All right,
Parker's
sorry.
4 wide receivers. Here are the 4 wide receivers.
played
and
4 wide
and you have
receivers?
3
Okay.
options. So here he has 4.
Yep.
3 is who he played. So he has number 1 is Tyreek Hill. So that's always
course,
an
of course.
automatic. You start it. And then the second, he has Tank Dell as his wide receiver
really
too.
good. Absolutely play.
But also he missed some practice this week. And then Christian
doesn't.
Kirk as his flex.
Okay,
and then
wait
he
a
sat
second.
DK Metcalf.
Wait a second.
I mean, it's a great defense on Dallas is fantastic. So
Yes.
Not
However,
last night.
Yeah. I think he's fired.
Trevor
I think he just
Lawrence
got fired on his
has
general
thrown. He
manager.
throws like a touchdown a game, if any. He does not get a lot of touchdowns. There's not a lot of plays for Christian Kirk. DK Metcalf is 100%, even with the Dallas D, the right choice there. No doubt about it.
Parker, you're not getting any help.
Matthew Berry would shame you.
Brian, what do you think of this?
This is fact for me too. It kind of similar to Parker fantasy football, but the trades that I didn't accept this year, and most recently, right before the deadline, someone offered me the combo of Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and I said no.
For what?
It was for Justin Jefferson, who I had on the bench. But I was like, "Oh, he'll still
Then
come back."
he was on the bench and you didn't take those two?
Right. And now it
And
looks
he's
like
got
I'm
a bum quarterback too.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking, but it literally, I was thinking about this last night watching the game. Like, oh my
You
God, I'm
just
an
didn't
idiot.
want to make a trade because you didn't want to make a trade.
I also didn't want to give up my first overall pick. It was like, but he hasn't played.
Point of pride.
It's still
Some
buzzing.
feelings and fantasy football don't go together.
It's a shame.
Just numbers.
One more, Em?
Yeah, one more. All right, so I'm gonna play this right now. It's Mitchell Robinson.
Oh,
his
this is
coach.
so good.
All right, so his coach is being interviewed on the broadcast last night because situation. So I'm going to play it for you right now.
The fact that you two are roommates this season, how did that come together?
First of all, my wife passed away in September. And Mitchell, when my wife's in the hospital, Mitchell came each day to visit her and came very close to myself and my wife. And after the funeral, Mitchell told everyone that he was going to bring me to New York with him. He said, Coach, there's no reason you stay down here in Louisiana anymore. You come to New York with me and enjoy yourself and get your mind back straight, because you know how much you loved your wife, how much I loved your wife. And it's just been a great situation, Rebecca, to be honest.
So Mitchell Robinson's wife passed away.
Yep, high school coach.
They stayed very close, Mitchell and his coach, and offered to keep him up in his house while he was getting back on his feet. So my statement is, this is a very sweet story. I think that's very nice of Mitchell Robinson. But my statement is, you have a coach that you have stayed in contact with as you grow older. Alan, Patrick Cap.
I mean, the only fact that I have there, old coach that used to coach me, no. Kellen doesn't count. I was talking about the Granite Hills coach. So I have not. I know you have. I know you've had plenty of moments of this. For me personally, I have not. I guess you could say my rec center coach, who now coaches Dan Duffy, is a great dude anyways, at Kennedy Rec. We occasional text here and there, but not, hey, he's coming by, I'm in San Diego, I'm going to see him.
Trev?
Yeah, the people that listen to our show a lot will know this. My high school baseball coach, a guy named John Myers, who I did lose touch with for a while, for a decade plus, and reached out to him.
Was it last year? You guys all?
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, got together.
And I just, my youngest son is playing baseball, was going through something, and he's like, and I told him, I said, hey, you're going to have good coaches, you're going to have bad coaches. You just, if you're lucky, you get one that you really care about. And he asked me, hey, did you ever have one? I said, yeah, it was my high school. And I was telling this story to Susan, my wife, and she said, you should find him and tell him that. So I did. And we've reconnected. I talked to him a lot. He recently went through a little bit of a health scare, came out here back to California to get his heart worked on at USC, and I've gotten to talk to him a lot. He means a lot to me, and I still talk to him a lot. My college coach too, I don't talk to as much, but I still stay in touch with him too. So yeah, I talk to a lot of my coaches.
Berg?
No, none of my coaches I have any relationship whatsoever. Well, my dad was my coach a lot, but I mean, even that relationship is strained. There's just nobody I didn't like any of my college coaches. I mean, high school coaches. So no, that's never been my thing.
What about you, Em? Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead. Sorry.
For me, this is Cap too. Maybe when I was in high school, I kept in touch with my coaches from rec league and stuff like that. But yeah, the last coach I had kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, so it's kind of just haven't really kept in touch too much.
So I had my soccer coach for my club soccer team when I was in high school, Donnie Wheeler, who he posts on my Facebook wall all the time, but he's very, very sweet way, and he's just someone who seems to care a lot about us going forward, and I think that's really nice. And then I also had a coach that passed away about 2 years ago that we used to see every time I was going home. My sister was still swimming, and he was a great guy. He didn't have family, so it was just him and Mike Klesner. Awesome
That's
guy.
a very cool story about Mitchell Robinson and his coach as well. That's touching. All right, speaking of coaches, Sean McVay, is a Super Bowl champion, has been to another Super Bowl. This team probably isn't that, but I think you can see Sean McVay's fingerprints all over this version of the Rams. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Next Gen, the official AC Heat and Plumbing Company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. Next Gen is the absolute best in the business. Thousands, Slee, of 5-star reviews online to prove it, including the guys that came out to see my system at my house, and they took care of me, as you would imagine, right? Right now, you can get a 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection for just $44 through December 30th through December 30th. Never before seen pricing. That's right. Just $44 to ensure that your system stays running strong all year long. And if you're sick of dealing with a slow drain, how about a drain cleaning with camera inspection? Also just $44. Here's how you do it. Call 833-3NEXTGEN. That's 833-3NEXGEN and say goodbye to your AC, heating, or plumbing problems. And if you have allergy problems or air quality concerns, call NextGen and breathe easy with indoor air quality solutions to fit any budget. Again, it's 833-3NEXTGEN or nextgenairandplumbing.com to schedule online.
Okay, so Brian, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because we're going to start talking about the Rams culture, what the Rams are doing, and how the Rams got a shot. Seahawks lose again yesterday, so even a better chance now for the Rams to potentially get in the playoffs. All that talent that the Chargers have, expectations coming in, names everywhere you look. How do Charger fans feel about the Chargers right now?
We're down on them, I'd say. It's kind of hard
Do you
to
almost
explain.
want them to lose?
Yeah.
Do you want them to lose against the Patriots to potentially speed up the inevitable? Speed up something that's going to happen anyways?
I never thought about this until this last week when we lost to Baltimore, and that was the first time that thought had came into my mind, where it's like, this year's already
That's funny.
pretty much done.
It's funny that you waited for the Baltimore loss.
Well, there was still a
who
little
did lose
hope.
before Baltimore? Green Bay?
Yeah, Green Bay, that we should have won.
That's the loss. The Green Bay loss, that's the one. I mean,
that one hurt, because especially
Rams
in Green Bay.
played the Packers, and it was the worst football game I've seen in a really, really long time, but
You're not
Rams
wrong.
have an excuse.
They
Their
played Brett
excuse
Rippon
was-
as quarterback.
They didn't have a quarterback in a league where it's kind of important to have a good quarterback. It's funny that you said after Baltimore is where you thought that. What I was asking Trav is, are you as a Charger fan basically rooting for the Chargers to lose this weekend to speed up the process of something that I think everybody believes is inevitable?
Do you want them to fire Staley immediately? If they announced today, hey, he's out, would you be happy with that?
I would be happy. I don't think anything's going to change this season. The latest kind of rumors I've seen is the Spanoses are looking to clean house kind of deal.
Mhm.
That was the latest rumors I've seen.
The only clean house that the Spanos should be doing is selling the team.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding.
No, I agree.
Put it in a real owner's hands, and that will change everything.
Do you not want to see if Kellen Moore's got the chops to do it? Why not give him 5 or 6 games to see if because you don't know. Maybe he's terrible. Okay, now I know. Let's go get
a
somebody
little
else.
sample size there to find out.
Maybe he's great. Okay, now I know. But because he's certainly going to be a candidate for the job, I think. So why not get more data on that, if nothing else? I don't understand.
I would be interested to see that, especially because he does the offense, and Staley's pretty much it's his defense kind of deal. So I want to see somebody, and Staley is adamant about not giving up the play calling for the defense. If he's still there, I'd still like to see him hand it over and just try something new.
Yeah,
'cause obviously what he's doing isn't working.
He does the thing, and we'll kind of circle this back to Sean McVay here real quick. Staley does the thing where he's dug himself into a position where, despite him being obviously wrong, he's doubling down. You can have belief in yourself. You can say, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do this, and try it a second time or
The
a
stubbornness
third time.
can work to your advantage. You
For
say
sure.
some of the great athletes, right? That it's their
they're all
stubbornness,
selfish. They're all
selfishness that
selfish.
makes them
Without
part of their
exception.
good trait.
It's part of it. But at some point, it's just something is true or it's not true. Brandon Staley's bad at that.
Mm-hmm.
He's bad at it. The data is in. It's not a matter of opinion. He's bad at it. So let's try something new. To your point, Brian, let's try to salvage this at some point. And he's doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on something that clearly doesn't work.
Right. And to Al's point about the Baltimore game, I think it also came into my mind that I was like, oh, Burrow's done, and now Deshaun Watson's done. So I was like, oh, there's a couple, top teams in the AFC that now don't have a quarterback. Chargers still have a chance to kind of, get in there with Herbert, but
no,
I don't know. It's done.
There's too much traffic in front of them. There's just too many decent teams ahead of them.
Dug themselves to be. Are they 4-7? Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah, 4-7.
4-7. This is okay. So we haven't got a chance to get into it. We talked about it earlier in the week. That look at the Rams' position that they're in. That the position that they're sitting in today.
5-6.
With the roster that they had coming in, with the amount of rookies that they had,
14.
The expectations for the Rams, I think there was 5.5 was the win total. Expectations for the Rams. And compare that to what the expectations were for the Chargers. And by the way, put expectations to the side. Just look at raw talent.
Yeah.
And here are the Rams actually realistically fighting for a playoff spot, and the Chargers, one of the worst records in the AFC, just doesn't add up.
The Rams win, and this is where I think Sean McVay is so good at what he does. I know that he's an offensive guy, and for good reason, and I know that he's innovative, but I think what his greatest skill is he builds culture and he builds identity, because he showed up. It's weird to think about. When he showed up 7 years ago, believe it or not, this is his 7th year here. Nobody knew who he was. He did not have a brand. He did not have an identity. There was no, everywhere he goes now, you know what you're getting with Sean McVay. But at the time, nobody knew anything about this guy. And he shows up, and the Rams were 4-12 the year before. They were a bad football team. And they're instantly not only good, but everything kind of makes sense. It works. There's culture that was very clearly established. And I know that they were really good for the first 5 years of his tenure. Last year, they were not good for injury reasons, post-Super Bowl reasons, all of that stuff. So that was not a good season. But this year, Bobby Wagner, gone. A'Shaun Robinson, gone. Allen Robinson, gone. Greg Gaines, gone. Jalen Ramsey, gone. Like all of these, somewhere between really good Hall of Fame caliber Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner out. You know who came in?
And they're telling you, look what the game plan is.
Right.
They're telling you by doing this.
And they took all of that. You know what came in? Nothing.
Kids.
14 draft picks. They drafted all 14 guys made the team. And what they've done is the Rams aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year. They might not get into the playoffs, but here we are in December, and they're very much in it.
They're in the hunt.
They
in the thick.
actually kind of hold their own destiny in the palm of their own hand. They found 5 NFL starters in one draft. Think about how hard that is to do.
That's incredible.
They found 5 NFL starters in this draft. Puka Nacua is an NFL starter. Byron Young is an NFL starter. Kobe Turner is an NFL starter. Ethan Evans, their punter, is an NFL starter. And Steve Avila, their top pick, their second-round pick, is an NFL starter. Last year, he didn't play very much. They got Kyron Williams in the 5th round. That's an NFL starter. They found 6 NFL starters in 2 drafts.
What do you guys say about that, Brian?
That is an unbelievable way to build a team.
Yeah, it is.
Their low period last year and maybe this year isn't going to last very long when you can turn it around. The Rams, they've played poorly at times. They never quit. They never bitch. They don't snipe each other. Their culture is rock solid.
And this isn't the year. So the fact that they're in the mix, that these rookies can get some great experience as in meaningful games. Look, if you told me right now they're going to make the playoffs or they're not, I'm going to lean towards they're not going to make the playoffs. That's what I would lead towards. But I'm going to go back to this. This isn't the year anyways. How much, if you get all these rookies that get this experience, you got some more draft picks, higher draft picks that you're going to get this upcoming year. You got money that you can go spend. You still got a couple name guys that you know how important they are, and there's that culture. That's big time for what they can do next year.
Whatever happens over the course of their final 6 games, okay? Whatever happens. This has been a successful season. The fruit from that draft and the development of the players like you just talked about, and the fact that they're playing competitive games in December, this is a successful season.
And news in the college football world. So this is
Florida State is in.
We might not have to worry about Florida State, actually, is what is going to happen. So Tate Rodemaker is their backup quarterback. He is doubtful to play on Saturday. He was knocked out of the game previously, so they'll be on to their 3rd-string quarterback, who is a freshman, Brock Glenn, against Louisville in the ACC.
Louisville any good? Do we any
they
good?
were the top 10 until Kentucky beat them last week.
Yeah.
They were the 10th team in the country until last week.
So Louisville
Kentucky's
could
ranked.
very easily beat Florida State, and there's no conversation to be had.
Yeah.
There was something in that Florida State game I want to talk about when we come back, because when it happened, it's like, wait, what the heck is going on? Plus, Shohei Ohtani may make a decision sooner than later. There have been meetings, and there were rules to these meetings. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
What time do I leave today?
You've got a decision to make.
Yeah. I think I'm leaning towards. No, I don't know if I have a. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards my decision.
Which one?
I'm
You had
screwed.
a couple. You had a couple.
Yeah, I'm screwed.
Well, what's the earliest you can leave?
All right, so Granite, I've talked about this, plays at Mission Viejo tonight at 7 o'clock. By the way, game's on Spectrum, which is awesome. I didn't even know the game was on Spectrum. So it starts at 7. I could leave any time. I could leave after 3.
Okay.
I don't want to leave at 3 o'clock to go down to Mission Viejo. I just don't. And I got to check because she may still be working, so she might have a call till like maybe 4 o'clock the latest. But I do have to check on that. So the question is basically, am I leaving at 5 o'clock? And it's going to take 2 hours to get down there, but I'm there for kickoff, right? I'm there at 7 o'clock. Do I leave at 6 o'clock and get there at the end of the first quarter, and now it's going to take like an hour and a half? Or do I do what I think you're saying, leave at 3:30 or 4, and it's still going to take you 2 hours,
Yeah,
but
I'd get down
Get a
there soon.
beer around there or something, yeah.
That's what he was saying, literally. Mm-hmm.
She gets
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I would rather always be
Stop by a laundry
a little
mat.
early, don't want to miss anything, but like have a little freedom than be stressed out thinking that I'm going to you might be on the road longer than you think. Who knows?
I have nothing to add to that other than make sure you get wings or nachos or something at the bar you're stopping
Yeah.
at to get the beer. That's it.
No, catch
Good
when
bar in
does the
Mission
Pac-12
Viejo?
start?
5.
5, yeah. So
Yeah.
you could even
Post up, watch the
get
first
there,
half
get
of
the
that.
Not a bad idea.
yeah. Go to B-Dubs or something else in Mission Viejo.
Oh, I got plenty of spots I can send you. There's good spots. Santora's, right on Marguerite, right? It's 5 minutes from Mission Viejo High School.
I like where they're going here, Brian.
Then you're
Brian,
going the other way.
Brian, I feel like
Of course he
you.
is.
I feel like you would show up at 8 o'clock. Like you would
Nah,
say,
I'd
"I'll
be there
get there
before."
when I get there, guys."
I'm like,
I don't want to miss anything.
That's it. That's
Right.
it. I would rather be there 2 hours early than 20 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right,
just
yeah.
me.
What if that's the only score that happens the entire game happens in the first quarter? I know that's probably not what's going to happen, but like who
No, I know
knows?
what you mean. I know what you mean.
But you're the one who also left early from the Chiefs-Rams game. Like, you know, you
So in all the
and
Granite,
Guatemala, Puerto Rico.
yeah, you left right at the
Costa
end of
Rica.
regulation. Yeah.
Who was playing?
wait, which game are you talking
The
about?
soccer game you went to at Snapdragon.
It was USA.
Yeah. Okay.
USA.
Panama?
Yeah, USA and Panama.
Panama.
Yeah.
You threw out. When you said Guatemala,
Guatemala, Puerto
I'm like,
Rico, I don't
did
know.
I go to a soccer match?
I knew it was a Central American country,
right.
and I was just kind of guessing.
Yeah, I
Not
think,
that Puerto Rico's in Central America. I know geography better than that. That's why I corrected to Costa Rica.
So believe it or not, even all the games that I have no problem leaving early, every Granite game I've been to, I was there for the whole thing.
Right. So then
Well,
leave
Al,
it 3.
don't say that like that's weird.
No, I'm proud of myself.
I went to the game and saw it all. It
I
should not
stayed
be
the whole
a thing
time.
to stand on.
Maybe because there's no radio broadcast that I could listen to on my way home.
Yeah, have Lady Slee take her work call from the car if she has to take one. Yeah.
Look, you guys know me well enough. One of my great things is having something to do, right? Like a game, like you're going to tonight. And I got a couple hours to kill before the game. That beer or two before, that sandwich before.
not a bad idea.
And there's a good football game on TV. Find a better way to kill 2 hours than that.
I gotta
It
be
doesn't
honest,
exist.
the Oregon-Washington sell is kind of all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
So I could show up even if I leave at 3:30, get there by 5, and enjoy an hour and a half of that. I could watch the entire first half.
Santora's.
Yep. Okay.
And it's a specific thing, but you should go.
Okay.
And there will be somebody at the bar that I will tell you his name, and you can go introduce because he's there a lot. Just it's a local spot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a chain thing that you can do. So there's a piece in The Athletic about Shohei Ohtani's recruitment. Is that what we're going to call it? And some of the specifics on how these teams are meeting with him, and just I don't know, what are we calling this? Just the hoops that you have to jump through to do this. I'm going to just read a little bit of here. The instructions were clear. The repercussions were not. But no baseball executives involved in Nez Balelo's highly structured process wanted to risk finding out the price of disobedience. This was in 2017. The prize was 6 years of contractual control over Shohei Ohtani. The stakes were too high. And then they talk about how you got to come in the back door. You got to park your car here, and then we're going to take you to another car here at the CAA office. We're going to take you up in a secret elevator. We're going to put you in a kind of a waiting chamber before you come into the real chamber. And this team's over here, and that team's over there.
They never cross.
Nobody ever sees anybody until they all go back to the same hotel. And they all laugh because, I know why you're here.
And then Ohtani is flanked by a field of agents as well.
As he should be. He's one of the most powerful, famous athletes in the world.
But it's very Bond villainy of him to just be like, hello, come into my lair. Here's my 4 agents here.
The only, and I don't want to use the word negative. Give me a different word other than negative. The only not negative, but
sticking point, I don't know.
Problematic is too strong of a word. The only potentially troublesome, there we go. The only potentially troublesome concerning, good. Thing that I've ever heard about Shohei Ohtani, both firsthand and second and third hand, is that he is a corporation of one. That he is on his own program. He does it the way that he thinks is best, his training program, his throwing program, his preparation program, his recovery program. I do it like this. You don't need to worry about what I'm doing. I will get it done. And that he is not particularly involved with the daily operations of the team or his teammates. I show up, I hit jacks, I show up, I strike guys out. That's all you need to worry about, and I'm going to do it. You know I'm going to do it. We all know I'm going to do it. That's it. You don't need to worry about me. It can't be if you want him, because he's not going to change. You're not going to turn him into Gary Rah-Rah. He's Shohei Ohtani. He gets to do what he wants.
But let me, and the reason why I say is that a problem. Has he done anything in his career so far, and maybe the Angels is just a bad example, but it's the only example that we have, that you would say, well, I don't like that, or that's going to be an issue? Because if I'm an organization that knows what I'm doing, and if I'm an organization that knows that as great as Ohtani is, I'm not going to put it all on his shoulders, that I actually have talent, I could develop players, I could put together a good team, just go be Ohtani. I'm not. If that's what it takes to bring Ohtani in, I'm not asking that many questions.
I'm going to ask the questions. I just don't know if I really care a ton about what the answer is, because I want to make this specific.
He might not even give you an answer.
He might not.
Just say,
he might not. He might just nod and say, "Yeah, cool. We got anything else?" It may be something like that. And
there's 25 other clubs.
I don't think anybody is walking out of the meeting with him, and saying, "That was weird. We don't want him anymore." I don't think that's happening. But I think that, and let's make this specific about the Dodgers. The Dodgers' problem is almost impossible to define. The Dodgers have really good players. They spend money. They've got a great farm system, all the things we've talked about. And yet, when it comes time to go, there's something missing. Andrew Friedman doesn't know what it is. Dave Roberts doesn't know what it is. Slee doesn't. I don't.
I think we have a little bit of an idea of what
is it. Please tell me, because I have no idea.
That they won't do anything different. I think that could be a problem sometimes, that you're not willing to say.
But that's not why
let's
Freddie
try
Freeman
something
goes
a little
ice
bit
cold.
different. No, that's not why.
Yeah, that's not why Mookie Betts goes an entire series without getting a hit.
I agree with you on that. But they're not willing to color outside the lines a little bit.
On the roster construction, yes. But they put together a team that wins 100 games every year, and then when it's time to go, they go cold. And there's no spark. Like, to your point, to color outside the lines a little bit, maybe you need to do it earlier. If it's a hard thing to put your finger on what's missing, and culture, right? And I'm talking baseball culture, not Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And you're bringing in a player whose culture is a culture of one, who's like, this is what I do. I would do it anyway because he's Shohei, because he's going to hit 45 or more home runs, because he's going to be a top 1 or 10 pitcher in the league when he's healthy to go again. But the Dodgers specifically, the cost, according to Jeff Passan, it might get up to $600 million, but even with the injury. Remember when we were talking about, and I'm like, hold on a second. Not so sure. We're already back up to $600 million again, reportedly. And $550 seems to be kind of the floor. I'm going to spend $500 million.
How many years is that by? Like 10? Okay.
I'm going to spend $500 million, and I can't use you anything other than just pitching and hitting. And I mean, like, the stuff, the community, the teamwork, all of the stuff that when we see the Phillies have a little spark. The Arizona Diamondbacks clearly had a little spark. The Texas Rangers, all the pieces kind of fit together pretty well. The Padres 2 years ago, that they fit. They had that little thing. They didn't have it last year. They shuffled the deck. I still want him no matter what, but it is one of those, that's kind of weird that it's Bond villainy just to get a meeting with the guy, and you already have not bad culture, but peculiar culture.
Don't you think by just having Ohtani on your team that a spark will be there that's not there today? The energy at the stadium.
Merely in the batter's box 5 times a night.
I'm not kidding, and I'm not trying to blow this out of proportion. I really actually believe just the mere fact that he is on your roster, whatever spark the Dodgers have been missing, I think he actually cleans up some of that spark, and he doesn't even have to say or do anything or hang out or go bowling with the team after any of that stuff.
And you have more talent than the Angels. If you say, hey, the Angels couldn't do it, though they had Ohtani and Trout on their team, the talent is
Angels
really different.
sucked the energy out of the room, and that's almost impossible to do with somebody like Ohtani.
So I completely agree with that. But if I'm paying you $500 million, isn't it somewhat responsible to fill the room with energy? To not just be a person in the room, but I need you to be the sun of that solar system.
So can I ask you a question? I guess I'm a little confused about. In a perfect world, even though we don't live in one, what would be the perfect world that Ohtani would say, yeah, these little things I'm okay with? Like, what is that perfect world?
You're Bryce Harper. You're Ohtani's game, but you have this energy that drives the entire team. The Phillies are different because of Bryce Harper. That he brings a certain edge, a swagger, and it's not just because Harper's a great player, which he is. Yeah. It's also Harper's kind of a red ass. He's kind of he's clearly the leader of the team.
He's staring down the other team if they run their mouth.
He's clearly in charge of that entire clubhouse. He's in charge of the culture of that team. Bryce Harper is not just, I'm over here, I show up and I hit and I leave, and you should get on my level. He's not. He's kind of he is the sun in that solar system. And
James Harden is the sun.
Right. But they take on his identity to a certain. They're not as good as Bryce Harper, but they take on his energy.
Personality, yeah.
And that's the perfect version of that. Don't change a thing of the ability. I want, and don't let me be crystal clear. I want that dude in a Dodger uniform. No, I don't care if he's the worst human being to walk the earth. Let's go. Let's make this happen. But the perfect world that you're asking, it's play with that leadership quality.
You would agree, I think you would agree, that you're asking for something that doesn't seem like is in his...
Doesn't seem to be.
Well, and listen, during the WBC, there looked like a leader in there. You know, there looked like a...
It was 3 weeks.
It was 3 weeks.
It wasn't 7 months, but yes.
It was, but there were things that we saw there, his speech that he gave and everything else, and maybe that's just because that's his peers.
Kurt in Laguna Niguel wants to help you out, Slee. What's going on, Kurt? What do you got?
How you guys doing? Hey, I don't want to stress you out, Slee, but you need to leave much earlier. Went to the game last week, got there at 6:30, and there was not a seat in the stadium on either side. Had to stand, and from what I heard, it was filled an hour before. So you might want to leave. Traffic will be a little bit earlier. And I also want to say, hey, Travis, you're probably one of my neighbors, even though I don't know where you live, but shop at Albertsons. And I don't know if you know where George White Elementary is, but I used to live in the house on the corner across the street from that, and I just live further down the track, so I'm sure we're neighbors.
I'm sure we have run into each other because all 3 of my children went to that school.
How's the moat?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, all my kids went to Dana and George White and, Nickel Hill, so we've probably crossed paths many times.
I'm sure we have. Yeah, we are.
The Dolphins.
Did I give him a good recommendation for the wings, Kurt? Do you concur?
I'm not very much of a wing person. My oldest son, he really likes it, and he orders them all the time on Uber Eats. I'm not sure where he gets them from, but he probably has them almost every other day.
There you go.
So,
Santoris.
There you go. Okay. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for the advice. That didn't help.
It's so
because now I'm also not getting even a ticket in.
Mission Viejo High School has a pretty good size high school football stadium. It's pretty good. I shouldn't say it's pretty good. It's very good, but it's not. It doesn't have 12,000 seats. It's got maybe 2,500, 3,000. So do you not have a ticket?
I have a pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will that get you into the game?
Yeah.
Will it get you a seat?
I'm making the pass when I get home.
This could be good. I envision there being a snafu of some sort.
I'm just going to be on the outside listening.
You just stand. Their
Listening to the
baseball field's
broadcaster.
right behind the football stadium.
Yeah.
Just sit there and listen for the cheers.
Oh, I'm freaking getting in.
All right, call in right now, 877-710-ESPN. Here's the number again, 877-710-3776 for your chance to win 2 tickets to the MLS Western Conference Finals between LAFC and the Houston Dynamo. You will also win an LAFC prize pack with an LAFC hat and an LAFC scarf. Right now, 877-710-ESPN. Bring your LAFC knowledge. See if you can win a pair of tickets to the Western Conference Finals. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. And if you are hurt in an accident, you need to call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000. Sweet James has experience. Sweet James gets you taken care of with your car. Make sure the car's fixed. Make sure your medical expenses are covered. And, of course, we're talking settlement, right? Guess who else knows that Sweet James gets the biggest settlements? The insurance companies. The insurance companies know that they're going to have to do the right thing, and if they still won't do it, you go to trial, and Sweet James wins 98% of the time. They've got over 500 trials under their belt. This is what I'm talking about. So whether it's the settlement phase, the pre-litigation phase, or the actual litigation phase, Sweet James is going to make sure that you get what you're entitled to, that justice gets served. That's what they do. That's why they've been awarded Best Attorneys in America, because they take care of business. 1-800-9-MILLION. It's the call I've made after, unfortunately, too many accidents in my house. It's what family and friends have called Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000. Of course, you can go online at sweetjames.com. But let me tell you one more time. If you are hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James at 1-800-9-MILLION.
All right, LAFC is going up against the Houston Dynamo tomorrow in the Western Conference Finals for the MLS, and so we're giving away tickets all week. So today you get a chance for 2 tickets. Prize pack includes a hat and a scarf to support the LAFC. Okay, so all you have to do is answer a trivia question correctly. So first we have Michael in Cerritos. Michael in Cerritos, you there?
Yes, Sam. What's up?
What's up, Mike?
All right,
Hey, what's up, Trav?
So, your question is, Michael, so Denny Bouanga was the Golden Boot winner for the LAFC, and he led the team in goals. Who was second in goals? Who had the second most goals for LAFC this season?
Oh, man.
5,
go
4,
with,
3.
Carlos Vela?
Yes, it
There
is
you go.
Carlos Vela. Congratulations,
there, brother.
Michael.
Good. Mike, be honest. Was that just the next guy who you knew and you threw up a Hail Mary?
Hail Mary, Trav. Hail
Hell,
Mary.
man, that's all you need.
All right, Michael, please stay on the line. I'll get your information, okay?
Go work, brother.
Enjoy,
Have fun.
Mike.
Thanks.
You got it. It's what I would have guessed. And I would have won 2 LAFC tickets. But Mike from Cerritos beat us to it.
You got to call in on the side. Hey, Trevor from
Trevor from L.A. Not Live.
Mission Vale.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Lakers lost last night, Slee.
Yep.
They're 11-9 through 20 games. We're a quarter of the way through the season.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. About a little bit better than 500. Not the end of the world. My level of concern isn't huge, but it's there. And the level of concern is based on the fact that they played 2 good teams this week, and they lost by a cumulative total of 67 points. They got destroyed by Philadelphia. They got
44.
beat pretty soundly
23.
last night. Yeah, it was a really bad look against 2 teams that are pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
And that they weren't even able to hang is not a good. So beating Cleveland on the road, okay, it's fine. Cleveland's decent, but Cleveland's not winning the NBA title. Cleveland's not going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Beating a Devin Bookerless Suns, okay, cool. It's not nothing, but I'm still waiting for them to look really good against a good team, and I just haven't seen it through the first 20 games.
So I think it's fair to say I don't think that's going to happen unless – and the only how do I put this? If you're losing faith that that's not going to happen, then the only way that happens is if they get healthy and whole. Now the question becomes, does Cam Reddish, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, are those players now all of a sudden, hey, now we could beat Philly on the road? Or, hey, now we could beat OKC on the road? I think that's actually a big ask. But I think for me, I think the bigger question right now for the Lakers is 11-9, 25% through the season. I sort of have an idea of what they are. Not completely. Like Bron had some quotes yesterday. He's like, how am I supposed to know what we are? We have a lot of guys that are in and out of the lineup, and these are some key role players. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think once those players come back, the feeling that you have, I think will lean one way or the other more. And I think it's a better way of gauging the Lakers. The 11-9, I'm not too concerned about. I think that's fine. But are those role players that eventually come back? I hate seeing Taurean Prince playing 35 minutes in a game, or some of these guys. Right now they're playing guys out of necessity rather than out of luxury. I think the role players are going to help when they come back. The question is, well, how much are they going to help? Are they going to help where all of a sudden these games against Denver, Miami, Sacramento, OKC, Dallas, Philly. Now are you going 3-3 against those teams? I don't have that answer, but I think that until we get those guys back, I think that's going to be the big barometer. But they have not been impressive through 20 games of the season because you can't be impressed by beating Utah and Portland and Memphis or teams like we talked about where there's something
They're
there.
not whole either.
A Booker's not there or something along those lines.
So, yes, and I understand that last night has some extenuating circumstances that are not excuses, they're explanations. It's the final of a 4-game road trip. It's the second part of a back-to-back. You're not a little shorthanded. You're significantly shorthanded. Okay, cool. The Lakers also have had LeBron James and Anthony Davis basically play in every game this season.
Yeah, they have.
They've both also played really well most of the time, and they're still not looking great. I understand that the supporting cast will improve, but you're getting your best players playing like it and playing just about every single night. They look a little, and I'm not saying LeBron and AD specifically, the Lakers collectively look a little slow. They look a little sluggish. They don't shoot the three well. They're 29th in the NBA in three-point percentage. It's not like they're a bad team, but I thought that they would be a pretty good team, and right now they just look like an average team.
It's also how you lose. Like you said, I think
killed by good
that's
teams.
the most important thing is I would have took 2-2 on this road trip. I would have. If you said, hey, Al, 4 games coming up, 3 of them against playoff teams, you take 2-2, I'd say yes. But then if you said, yeah, but the 2 best teams that you played of those 4, those games you're tuning out to start the fourth quarter because there's no reason to watch. That part is obviously a little bit concerning. This is actually interesting, I hadn't looked at it, but I'm looking at it right now. Lakers have played 20 games so far. How many games, if I said, okay, Trav, we're the 4 best players on the Lakers, who would you say?
LeBron, AD, Reeves, D'Lo.
Okay, I'm with you there. Okay, you want to make a case for, but I'm with you. Those are the 4 best players on the Lakers. Out of 20 games, the most you can play, Reeves has played 20. D'Lo has played 20. LeBron has played 19. AD has played 19. Your top 4 players have been there every single game, and 5-9 versus teams above 500.
That's not good.
That's not good.
And
That's not good.
And it's eye test not good. Like the roster beyond those top 4, we can this guy's in, this guy's out. Gabe Vincent was a guy they went and got, hasn't really played at all. Vanderbilt really hasn't played at all. But you're right. It's what you do have that's supposed to be really good has been average. It hasn't been terrible. It's not, hey, what the hell? This isn't the Russell Westbrook 20 games in, but the friend is like, guys, we got a problem.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah.
But it's also, I thought they would be at the top of the second tier of NBA teams. There's Denver. There's Milwaukee. There's Boston. There's, this season it's Minnesota. It's OKC, Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's 5 or 6 teams in there. And then that next group of teams that you think is pretty good, but we'll figure it out from there. I thought the Lakers should be at the very top of that. They're in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those, all right, it's not a 5-alarm fire, but I need it to start turning sooner than later. If the Lakers are where they are right now at the first of the year, January 1st instead of December 1st, then you've got a fundamental problem in the roster, a fundamental problem in the way that they're going about it. If LeBron, AD, D'Lo, and Reeves are playing every night and you're still 500 2.5 months into the season, no bueno.
Safe to say, I think everyone would agree with this. They're going to make some kind of change. They are.
Feels like it.
But you can't figure out what you need to change, I feel like, today because those guys haven't all been there. They need more data. They need more individuals that are a part of the mix. The guys that we were just talking about to say, I know something's probably going to need to change. I just don't know what it is yet, and I think they'll get their data as they go on.
Hot and cold coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Can I tell you something, Slee, about Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the most fun I've had, and even last night when it didn't go my way because Geno Smith got me, it was still an incredible amount of fun, right? Here's what you do at Prize Picks. You go and put the Prize Picks app on your phone. You can go to prizepicks.com/710ESPN. You pick between 2 and 6 players, and you can win up to 25 times your money, and it's easy. You make your selections more or less. I had Dak Prescott, more. Bang, hit it. I went under on Geno, and Geno had a big day. Missed it right there. Still a ton of fun at Prize Picks.
I didn't think Geno would get that. By the way, I'm picking NBA games. Tonight, Kyrie Irving, more than or less than 32.5 points. I'm going to go less than. Joel Embiid, more than or less than 31.5 points. They're playing the Boston Celtics, really good defensive team. I'm going to go less than. Here's the best part. It takes about 60 seconds to make your picks. Now, take advantage of the incentive that 710 is doing here. Go to prizepicks.com/710 and use that code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100.
Hey, it's corporate. Heat and Plumbing Company of SoCal sports fans.
You're as cold as ice.
Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m. Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to NextGen. Boy, time for Who's Hot? Who's Cold? Take it away, Producer M.
All right, so who's hot is my fear of deer, okay? So I take the Buck slogan seriously because things like this can happen. So Cedar Grove Elementary School, approximately at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, a deer was loose in a school. It banged
inside the school?
It broke through a window, went into a school, and was loose. Okay, so this is why deers are unpredictable and they're very scary.
And
so
they're
that's why it's
dumb
hot.
as you know what.
Yes.
That's the issue with deer, is that they don't really have an escape plan.
Big CY here?
Get into your premises.
They stand in traffic.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
they are stupid animals, but they are also scary animals because they're unpredictable.
And they're huge.
Yes, exactly. And they can mess up your cart. They can mess up you. So that's why the fear of deer is hot.
Do people realize that out here on the West Coast? Like deer, because deer back home, that's a regular threat.
Yeah.
In terms of
I don't think
you could be on the interstate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in
We
terms
don't really
of because
have-
okay, so Slee, here's what you need to know about deer. If you ever see a deer stopped and you're driving, you're in the Subaru, you're going up to the mountains, rookies barking, all that.
Yep.
Do not hit the deer head on as any sort of method to try to get through it. You know why? Because the deer will pop up and land
into your
through
windshield. Yep.
your sunroof and take you out. It happens.
Also,
it's very real.
if you're seeing deer,
it's real.
If you're seeing deer while you're driving and you see them on the side of the road, you stop.
Yeah.
Or you slow down.
Yeah.
And if you see one deer, there are multiple deer. So if you have to wait until you see a couple cross the road or whatever, and then you continue on.
Well, every
you're
time
cold-
I see
cold
deer,
on
I'm
deer,
like-
are you?
No, I'm hot on deer. My fear of the deer is confirmed.
Every time I've seen deer, I'm like, this is the most what a beautiful animal. Look at it doing its thing.
Yeah,
to
no.
drive
I
slow
don't know that
here.
East Coast deer.
You like Lyme disease?
Well, I'm not telling you I'm going to. I'm not sitting there petting it and telling him, "Hey, bring him in with rookie."
Yeah, no. Deer can get bent.
All right, so cold is sign
that phrase, by
language.
the way.
Sign language, because DK Metcalf has been getting fined a lot for, saying things to people, getting in fights, etc. So he was like, okay, I'm going to take it into my own hands. I'm going to learn sign language so that I can talk my talk while without getting fined.
Mm-hmm.
And so after he scored one of his many touchdowns, he signed standing on business. And I'm not going to butcher the sign language version of it, but I want to say it's like standing on business or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so cold is sign language because it's a pretty cold move to learn another language so that you can trash talk in that language.
When you're that committed to running
Awesome.
it,
Yeah.
and you know,
Awesome.
but you don't want to spend the money to do it anymore, but you have to do it anyway.
Budget trash talking.
Pretty awesome.
Do you guys
Creative.
Can I tell you guys a little quick historical story about
Yeah.
that? So, have you seen the commercial of the football team that's using visors with visuals? Have you seen this? They use visors with visuals in order to send signals to their players. There's a football commercial.
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw the
the
commercial with the
Gallaudet
hearing
University.
impaired
That
kid.
school is in the District of Columbia, Gallaudet University. Gallaudet University is also where they invented a little thing we like to call the huddle. Because back in the day, they couldn't talk to each other, so they had signs, so they would go huddle up, and that's how that was invented, and that's happened in D.C., just so you know. Yeah, football history right there.
Very
101.
cool.
I knew sign language for. I don't say I knew it. Don't
Yeah.
let me not get it twisted. But I had
taught
like
it, didn't you, in
I had a
college?
working understanding of how to do. I had like a vocabulary of I don't know, a couple hundred words.
When I was a camp counselor, I knew
Yeah.
enough to get with the
to
kids.
slug through it
Yes,
if you had
exactly.
to do it. But DK just learning a phrase or two. There was another one where he was sunning someone and
Yeah,
he did the
he
baby.
did.
It's just like
I
that's
know
terrific.
I know FU because
We
very
all do.
close to thank you.
Yeah.
I know water.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know a little bit.
Cow.
Oh, yeah, that's an easy
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's a simple one.
Chicken.
Udders.
I know the food. I know.
I took
It's
a
taco.
I also took a
That's
class.
I don't know.
Since we're here.
Somebody help me out. Say Spanish speaking.
What's laundromat?
Do you like to go to a laundromat?
I heard you talking about this, but I couldn't figure out what the bit was.
I still can't figure it out.
But
I
It's
still
not a
can't
bit.
understand.
I
you just
I
enjoy
enjoy
laundromats?
Yeah.
I think laundromats are cool. I think laundromats are underrated as like third spaces.
That's exactly what I told
used
Travis
to do a lot
earlier.
of hanging out in laundromats in college because we didn't have a washer dryer. So like you spent time at the laundromat and you went with your friends because you didn't want to be there with somebody you didn't
But
like.
Trav goes after dinner with his wife.
I mean, we don't go there. We walk past it, and I take a
stop.
minute to appreciate it.
I get that. You know what this is like?
Let me show you this.
This
Soak
is
it in.
like this
Soak
is
it in,
like me
everybody.
with water towers and various other constructs that I enjoy a lot. I like water towers. I like fire towers. I like windmills.
Water towers
lighthouses.
create a odd amount of anxiety for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
like just there. That's a lot. It's a lot of weight up
Could
there.
come down.
And it could
yeah,
come
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And it's always on a little spindly little stick.
That's why I like it though. I'm like, why did we think of this as an idea? This is so treacherous.
So Clinton, I
great.
thought of you too when I was driving on 95 when I
Okay.
was on the East Coast, and the water tower for my county, it was Spotsylvania County, is the gateway to Lake Anna. And I think it's like, whoever wants to go to Lake Anna.
They have the most ridiculous
Anyway.
things on the side of them.
Lake Anna's next to a power
they're so
plant, by the
funny.
way, guys.
Nice. But
So
yeah,
it's a beautiful lake on a power
Beto
plant.
sent me a bunch of pictures of water towers because he's a good friend and he knows what I like.
Yeah. Why? Just because you like the
I take pictures of them
oddity
wherever.
it all?
Yeah, and they all look just different enough that when you
I like
see
the ones
one,
that have the four legs.
Yeah,
I'm
see-
much better with those than the one that looks like a turkey baster placed on its end.
a lot
I
more
don't
people
like those.
have knowledge of water towers than they realize till they start thinking about it. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I spent a summer in the Midwest
Yeah.
playing baseball, and
Jay
that's,
Hockley.
that's how you identify these towns. They all have a water tower with the town painted on the side of it.
Why are there no water towers in California? Is
Because
that
we
it?
have earthquakes, I'm
Because-
assuming.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
guessing
okay.
that's what
I'm
because
just curious.
That's just my
it
guess.
doesn't work the same way. Yeah, and like in
We have
Geor-
reservoirs.
in Georgia. You go down. There's like a certain point in Georgia when you're going down to Atlanta where you hit a water tower that's a big peach, and it's like this is cool. You know, I
Gaffney.
like-
I
yes.
kind of like that.
It's
Exactly
also
right.
where a House of Cards. It was a point in House of Cards that the peach and Gaffney. Anyway,
Huh.
Who's hot? Who's cold? It's brought to you by NextGen. NextGen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. Call 833-3NEXTGen or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. You're going to Nashville?
Going to Nashville for the winter meetings.
Okay.
Obviously, a very big topic.
Do you think there will be a decision during the winter meetings on Shohei?
I think that if they don't find a way to get it done during the winter meetings, then not only has a team failed, but baseball will have failed as well. This is a whole other theory I have about this, which is the secrecy of this is, in fact, bass backwards, as we might say, for MLB. This should be closer to the decision than it is to something in the dark
but
for Major League
can they
Baseball.
leverage Ohtani into
NBA-centric,
doing it?
free
No,
agency.
you can't. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate is what I'm saying, is that this would be great if it were, no. Bring me your finest meats and cheeses, Chicago. I'd like to see what you have to offer. Off with your head if I don't like it. So on and so forth down the line. You'd like to think that baseball would find a way to market this a little better. And my point there, Travis, is they can't land this within the winter meetings window. That's tough because this is the one time when people expect to actually get some news
I
out of that.
agree with you, but the problem is they're not in control of it. He's in control of it.
Yeah.
And he, by all accounts, and by just kind of observing him over the last several years, he does what he wants.
Yeah.
And you're
And they let him do what he wants, and
Right.
he'll continue to do
but
what he
even
wants.
Rob Manfred or who, and I know that, but just saying, hey, listen, you know what would be great for the sport? If you have made a decision, it would be great if it landed in this. I don't think he gives a damn.
I don't think he does either, but I do think that's the one reasonable ask you can make if it's really coming down to it. Just say, hey, you know what I mean? This is all we ask of you is perhaps let's make a decision before.
Because I don't think there is, and again, nobody knows anything about Ohtani, and anybody that tells you they do is making ish up.
Yeah.
Just using my logic, I can't imagine he doesn't know where he's going yet. I can't imagine.
You think
that-
he's already? He's got the
and if
decision
he's
down.
not 100%, he's 98% of the way there, and maybe he wants a meeting with a manager, the owner, or whoever it may be. But I can't imagine he's cracking his knuckles and saying, I wonder what the Cubs are like.
No.
I wonder what the Dodgers are like. I wonder what Toronto's like. He knows the answer to those questions.
Here's the sense that I get, and I'm not reporting this. This is just what I've heard, insidery sort of stuff. I honestly think, this is the deductions from my understanding, I think I wouldn't be surprised if what he's picking between is the two Los Angeles teams. I think people are discounting how much the Halos are still in this for reasons that have to do with continuity and just general, hey, you know what I mean? I think he's picking between these two
I got to
Los
tell you,
Angeles
man,
teams.
and you know where I'm going with this. If he goes back to the Angels, I will think significantly
Well,
less of him.
I figured as much.
No, that then he doesn't give a damn. He does not. That is a I don't give a damn decision.
Well, it also takes away his anything he said in the past of, guys, I'm trying to win here, right? Like
perhaps
he has said stuff that makes you think, well, he's definitely not staying with the Angels.
One time 2 years ago.
And
this is
right.
Which
I
is
don't
one
know
more
how
thing
much,
than Trout has said over his
100%.
time.
But I mean, listen, the world is they have a new manager. He's coming off of injury. Let's just say it's a short-term thing. Like I said, that option of him potentially doing a 2 to 3 thing until he's cleared his arm, blah, blah, blah. I think there are more possibilities on the table.
But the 2 to 3 thing, Yates, I agree that's probably very likely.
He's going to get paid anyways.
Any team that he wants that from will give that to him.
Perhaps. But I think that the scenario in which that would make the most sense for him to do would, in fact, be in Anaheim.
Look how clean that laundromat is.
That is a fantastic laundromat. This is pristine.
Thank you. See?
Wow. Nice little bench outside,
I want to
too,
see
so you can
more
burn
of.
a heater while
I
you
want to
wait.
see more of the back. Because I think the back will tell more of how clean it is. It's easy to have that front lobby clean. I need to get.
I would
the Apple Store of laundromats.
I would gladly do a remote at a laundromat.
I can see Trav.
That's where we are.
I can see Trav pulling washers and dryers out just to see what's going on back here.
We all
Okay,
clean the
they
lint
taken
trap
care of.
before we throw our stuff
Exactly.
in there, right?
Laundromats are also a certain level of
It's very
salt,
simple.
salt of
2
the
seconds,
earth.
it's warm.
Like if you spend time at a laundromat, I trust you a little more than somebody who hasn't. Because you know what it's like to have to load those quarters into that machine.
Yeah, but this
I
is
still
fold your
drawers.
drawers.
I still hoard the quarters.
Fold your drawers in front
This
of strangers.
is where we're
you know?
going back. He's not going to the laundromat because he's doing his laundry
know.
there.
Occasionally I am.
Once every 7 years?
No, I'd say it's twice a year. Our washing machine breaks a lot. It's old, and I don't want to buy a new one. Kind of because
the warranty?
We have
like
the warranty, so they have to continue to fix it.
Yep.
And at the same time, a little trip to the laundromat once or
Nothing wrong
twice a
with
year
it.
is not going
Nothing wrong with
to
it.
ruin my weekend.
Have you ever seen a table
He takes one beach towel.
bigger
Thrown
than
in.
have you ever seen a table anywhere bigger than those in the laundromat? They're
No.
the largest tables
No.
in the history of
Might be
modern
right.
and the
society.
least comfortable
Yeah.
benches.
That's true too.
Right?
That's true too.
I love
benches are
taking
like
up that
this.
whole table with all of my
Yeah.
whites, my colors, my socks, my pants, my shirt, my dress shirts, like the whole thing. Like
Where
little
is
stack
the
of all of
social
it.
team when we need it?
And I love the basket with the things you can hang
Yeah,
on the
those
top.
are sweet,
I want
by
one
the
of those
way.
for
I
my
don't know
house.
what's going on.
You know,
I have no idea. But he literally sold him. He had
You know,
like
I-
a
you're
5-minute
selling me. I
conversation
mean,
and he's in now.
You're talking to a guy that likes looking at water towers.
The wire laundry basket with the 4 wheels
Yeah, yeah.
and the bar over the top where you can hang all your.
we know that.
That's the.
Also,
If I ever had
You should have 4 of
blank
those
you
at
money,
home.
I would get one of those in every room.
Don't
well,
think
yeah,
they're
I
that
mean, those are
expensive.
also very clutch for college drinking races when you need them. Those things
because they're not balanced
chariots,
particularly well.
You get they're not. So that leads to some hijinks. Some of us speak from experience.
The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. This is ridiculous. 1-800-9
gotten to today? Yes, it's time for the dump.
So I'm going to start out the dump with this because I just was laughing. So my sister Maggie is in Orlando. She's a medical student. Medical school.
UCF.
Yes, at UCF. Go Knights. And she calls me, and she doesn't usually call me at all, and also especially not during the show. She knows when I'm on, so I just pick it up in case there's an emergency.
Is she a listener like Claire?
She listens occasionally. She's not she's Claire's a P1.
Okay.
Maggie's probably P2 or 3.
Okay.
So
she listens when I take time off. It's her favorite show.
So anyway, I pick up. I was like, "Hey Maggie, what's up?" She's like, I'm at work," and she's like, "Oh, I just wanted you to know there's a Starbucks order that you should get because it's so good." And I was like, "This is the first time this has ever happened." And it's the ginger.
I was gonna say, what's the order?
I was going to say, you have my full attention.
It's a gingerbread oat milk chai.
Gingerbread.
So I think you would hate it.
Doesn't sound like it's
But
fun.
it does sound like something I would
good.
get. So if
Yeah.
you're listening and you're wanting a Starbucks order for some reason, get a gingerbread oat milk chai. It is Maggie approved.
Do you like chai, Slee?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tried
Yeah,
it.
okay.
I can't.
I'm okay with it.
My daughter Kelly loves it. She drinks it all the time, and I've tried because you like this one. She's 0 for like 6.
I gotta be in the mood. Do you like matcha?
No.
Yeah. See, you're a traditionalist. You don't like the fancy things in life.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't know.
Well, you just like your coffee,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Like you don't want the frills.
But I don't mind like a cup of tea. I don't
Yeah.
mind, but I just want black tea. Like just regular Lipton tea. That's all I want.
Yeah.
What type of tea is that? Black tea? I think that's black tea.
Yeah, Lipton is. Yeah, Lipton is.
Maybe Earl Grey. I don't know. I don't know my teas well.
Earl Grey, I'm okay.
I want to play this for you. Al Michaels is, by the way, Al Michaels on Thursday Night Football, and last night he had a good game, but for the most part, these Thursday night games are kind of clunkers, and Al is not afraid to let you know it's a clunker. And there were 748 penalties in the game last night. Here's Al Michaels.
Technically, it was the most in the entire NFL season this year. It was 19 penalties for 257 yards.
Here was Al describing that.
We're going to take the rest of the night off and let Cleet Blakeman call the game. You buying? Sure.
He wants to go have a few.
That's the
buying?
referee. But
Yeah, it's Cleet Bankman is the referee. It was, by the way, I want to play that again for you guys. Don't listen to Al. I want you to listen to Dak Prescott in the background here for a second. Have you picked up on this yet, Al?
No, let's hear it.
Listen to this. Listen to Dak in the background.
We're going to take the rest of the night off and let Cleet Blakeman call the game. You buying? Sure.
Kirk did this to me.
and I hate Kirk.
I texted him last night, Em, and said, I just want you to know you and I are friends. We've been friends for nearly 10 years. It's over.
We are no
between us.
longer
He ruined
friends.
it.
We're
He
done.
ruined it.
When the Rams played the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago,
Okay.
every time Dak Prescott is getting ready to snap the ball,
Mm-hmm.
here we go. Not once, not occasionally, not every single time. Listen.
Here we go.
Listen again.
We're going to take the rest of the night off and let Cleet Blakeman call the game. You buying? Sure.
Here we go. Every time. It doesn't matter.
That's impossible to take that out of your head. If I knew that going in, that's impossible that I don't notice that every snap.
I've taken great pleasure. I've ruined it for my son Michael.
Yep.
I've ruined it for my son Bobby. I
Yep.
ruined it for Susan last night. I'm like, hey, come in here real quick. Listen to Dak Prescott go, here we go. And she's like, well, why did you tell me that? Now
Yep.
that's the only thing you can hear
Now,
every time you watch a Cowboys
You
game.
ruined it for us.
Good.
Emily was already ruined, and all the listeners now as well.
Thanks, Kirk.
I do love Al in the I don't give a damn mode. It's pretty fun. It's that game last night was good, but he will tell you when it's not.
Also, speaking of Dak Prescott, he moved from 8-1 to 5-1 odds to win the MVP. He's now tied with Lamar Jackson behind Jalen Hurts. Do you think that Dak has a shot at getting the MVP?
Sure, he's on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they have a good record, and
They
he's
do.
putting up numbers. I mean, he has great weapons, but he's putting up numbers.
He has to continue to put up numbers. They have to continue to win games, and the Eagles are going to have to stub their toe a couple of times down the stretch.
Yeah.
The Cowboys don't have to win the division, but yeah, I mean
just let's take
the Cowboys get.
Let's say San Francisco beats Philly this weekend. 10-2, 9-3. Record wise, you're in the. It's not like they're a 7-win team or something along those lines.
I want to say they still play each other one more time too, right? I think the Cowboys and the Eagles. I think they have one more game against each other.
It's next week.
It may be. So yeah, he's got a chance.
Yeah.
I'd still put
December
my money.
December 10th, Philly, Dallas.
There you go. So a week from this Sunday. I would still put my money on either Lamar or Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But Dak might be good value.
He's in the conversation. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Danny Sheridan is reporting that Jim Harbaugh is 100% leaving for the NFL if he gets an NFL offer. One of the great skills I think that Jim Harbaugh has, and this, I'm not being flip when I say this, I mean this sincerely. He's able to identify good situations where, like, Phil Jackson was brilliant in, not that he wasn't a great coach, he was, but yeah, I'll take Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Yeah, let's do that. Hey, the Lakers are open. Yeah, I'll do that. Shaq and Kobe leaves. Hey, look, Kobe still. Yeah, I'll go back and I'll do that again. That he was incredibly strategic in how he did it. It's an incredible gift to know when the right time to jump on these things is. I don't know if there is one of those in the NFL as you look at it right now, because Stanford, when he went there, very stable, just they're methodical, and he had time to build that thing, and he did. He goes to San Francisco, and everyone's like, they're one of the worst teams in the league, right? He's like, nope, watch this. Went in there, they were instantly good. They were good basically the entire time he was there. He got that Michigan job offered to him multiple times along the way, reportedly, and when he finally went, bam, it popped. He's a great coach, but he doesn't take bad jobs. What's open? The Raiders are open. Carolina is open. The Chargers will probably be open. There's probably one or two more. He doesn't take – those are all bad gigs.
Is it the jobs or is it him? Could he make –
That's ownership's pretty solid, right? That's potentially open.
You might have Caleb Williams.
You know what we should do right now, guys?
Yeah.
We should do a little – yes,
do a
Mace, a
little,
little super crosstalk.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, T-Raj is, look, he's a busy man.
He's hitting the door. He's done for the week.
Mason's leaving the late crosstalk.
Yeah.
It's Friday. Everybody's on a Friday mentality.
John, what the hell are we doing? I mean, you got in late last night. Here you are showing up, rolling up your sleeves. Yeah, Trav's got a baseball game. Michael's got a game at 2 here.
I had a podcast this morning and a podcast this afternoon.
Who's the guest this afternoon?
Matthew Good.
Oh my God! Are you kidding?
Yeah, he played Robert Evans in.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, did you watch that Godfather thing?
Oh yeah, The Offer was it was called.
My neighbor wrote it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And it's fantastic, and he's the best part of it. Mace, he was also on The Good Wife, which I loved.
Yes,
and he was in Match Point.
Oh right, Match Point. That was such a good movie.
You might have to bring John.
By the way, you know what Match Point is most famous for? One and My First Date.
Really?
We had our first date to see Match Point. Yeah,
that's a good
Woody Allen movie.
You guys hooked up, right? Because there's a lot of sex in that movie.
We hooked up on the first night. Our first date was actually after we hooked up. That's the way it works in my
Let's
world.
hook up first,
yeah.
and then we'll
see if we
let's get to know. Let's see if we get to know each other. Okay, I got a question. Do you guys have?
I love Matthew Good.
Yeah,
man,
he's
I'm
really
jealous.
good. He's really good.
Trav, you can leave anytime you want to go interview him. You can leave now if you want.
Perfect. No, I'm going to hang in. I'm going to hang out.
Trav has a fascination. We all kind of have these weird things that, whatever it is. Trav has a fascination with laundromats.
Laundromats.
So, let me properly explain this.
Okay.
He has a washer and dryer at home. Perfect. He does not use your local laundromat.
Right,
He doesn't need to. But for some reason, he really, really likes laundromats. So he's telling us that him and Susan will have dinner together.
Right.
And they'll have dinner at a restaurant, this restaurant that they go to. And they go for
Friday night.
It could, yeah.
Travis has a gin martini. Oh, I know.
He does his thing.
All
right?
stuff you don't remember about Travis.
Correct.
But I do.
Correct. Yes. But then he posted a picture on Twitter of him and Susan outside of a laundromat, and he took a picture there. I'm like, Trav, what are you doing? He's like, I just like it. Look how clean it is. There's something about laundry that he likes. John, do you have any? Do you feel the same way?
You know this about me, right?
I know you're a fan of
Captain Laundry.
doing laundry.
My wife calls me the laundry czar. So if I do laundry everywhere, and I don't allow anyone in my family. Well, Jack can do it, but Lisa's not allowed to go in the laundry room. And if you ever have something, Slee, that you got a stain that you cannot get out, I want you to give it to me. Ask Mace.
Ireland,
Ask
Stain
Bergman.
Master.
Ask anybody that knows me. I take these things highly personally. I'm total team Travis on this. If I saw a clean laundromat, I might just go in there and do a few loads for the experience, just to compare it to other laundromats I've been
Can you relate to any of this?
I mean, I hooked up once in a laundromat. It's a great
God
place.
bless
It's
ya.
a great place to date, right? Because you're all sitting there, and you're in the laundromat, and you're talking, and you're chit chat, and next thing
is
you
a
know,
Friends
it's like
episode.
you've met somebody. You've met somebody that
There's
that
chemistry
you
there.
match with. Exactly.
Yeah, I thought you guys were going to
Your
say
laundry
Travis
goes with my
crazy, and
laundry.
I think I'm the one that sounds like I'm
No, I
crazy
think
by
you
not
are.
going to a laundromat.
Right.
Who
And
loves
You
a
know what?
laundromat?
I heard something earlier on the show that I was stunned by. All right, let's put it this way. Slee, if I would have walked up to you before we had this conversation, and you said there is somebody at ESPN LA, I'm not going to tell you who, that puts his dirty laundry outside his door, and the next day they bring it back clean. Now, everybody would automatically assume that's me.
Yeah.
That's very bougie.
Yep.
It's Bergman.
Yeah. Do you hear about this? Greg
Lord
doesn't
Bergman.
doesn't do anything. Greg takes his laundry, opens his door, puts it outside. Somebody comes, picks it up, cleans his laundry, delivers it back.
It's like-
Greg Bergman
See, that's a
does it.
John Ireland move, but I just don't do it because
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with laundry.
That is very 1%. Bergman's coming in and he's going to grab a microphone. So, Captain 1% with your.
Greg, I'm very proud of you that you do a very Manhattan Beach guard-gated community thing with your
It's
laundry.
unbelievable.
Thank you, because it is very important to me. There's few things in life that I hate more than doing laundry. I know you love it, John, but
Yeah.
I absolutely despise it. I think it's just a complete waste of my time. So, yes, I pay. I put it all in a bag. It goes outside my door. They pick it up. The next day, it's on about around 9 o'clock
Greg,
at
not
night. It's
only
there.
do I not hate doing laundry, it's obviously the opposite. But if one of my friends has a stain in something that they say, and you know
Take
this,
that
Greg,
shirt
I
off.
did this for you.
For
I
you
literally,
and me.
Slee, I'm that guy. I'm
Yeah.
like, seriously, you got another shirt here? Take that off. I take it like highly personally.
So random.
If I can't get a stain out. Well, because I'm on the road all the time, Slee.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know, if like somebody spills, like Michael travels with ketchup. He has a bottle of ketchup in his pocket
Yeah.
at all times. If like he spills ketchup on something, I need to get the ketchup out of the shirt. All right, it's just who I am.
Let me ask Bergman, how much does it cost to have your laundry fluffed and folded for you?
He doesn't even know. Money is not a
no,
is
it's
not
not
a
a
money
thing.
is no
Yeah, money is
object.
not a
I'm
thing.
the Mao.
Bergman, I've never
No,
been prouder of you than I am at this moment.
I care about money so much that I'm stopped driving so much because the gas is so high right now. Okay, but this is worth
What
it.
are you,
for me.
hitchhiking?
It's like I just don't drive long distances anymore.
Oh, okay, got it.
How do you get to work?
It's 16 miles.
Go to Yamava.
Okay.
That's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that
the
was-
trip to Yamava.
That's a-
Tell you what, that trip to Yamava was
yeah,
a haul.
that's-
We were out there
But
yesterday.
So it costs about $115 a month.
Well, that's not. I mean, that's a pretty good price.
It
All
is
right, so you
That
guys
sounds
know
like a
this
lot.
because this
115?
is
For an
is my
entire
world.
month?
for an entire month. Yeah,
That's a good- that's actually a good
I get
deal,
it,
Greg.
I get sent out twice a month.
Yeah, that's not a terrible deal.
I'm
but,
fine with it.
You know, there's a bunch of college students across the nation. If I'm on a long 2-week Lakers trip, and if you like, I did this in Philadelphia last year. I Googled, laundry service rather than I could send it to the hotel, but they charge you like $10 to clean a T-shirt. It's ridiculous. So there's a young girl that's a college student in Philadelphia at Villanova, and as a side hustle, she will come pick up your clothes, launder them, and bring them back to the hotel. And I said, all right. So I was on I was on day 9 of like a 16-day trip, and I didn't want to pack for 16 days. So I gave her all my clothes, big bag of it, and she brings it back, and she does a great job. It's all folded. It's awesome. And I said, what do I owe you? She said, $8.
$8.
$8?
And I went, $8 doesn't even cost you what it cost you to drive over here.
The
And
quarters.
She goes, I took the train. And I went, here. And I handed her $40.
Should have given her 100.
And I said, you need to charge more. And she goes, thanks. And I thought, I go, you're way undervaluing this service. So hopefully she's charging more.
I think there's one thing we all have where it's like, all right, this thing If I got to spend, I'm going to spend. Like, I don't know about what it is for you guys. If I'm going to
I know what it is for me
if
in
I'm going to go
Ireland.
travel somewhere, I want to have, like, now I'm not telling you I'm going to go stay.
Experience?
Yeah, but I'm not going to, it doesn't need to be, I'm not talking about the hotel, but it's like, if I want to go to this spot and the flights are expensive,
right?
I want to go there. So I'm just going to pay whatever I got to do to get to that spot. There's certain things that I'm okay with spending on. That one, I don't know.
When
about
you,
the
Slee,
laundry
do you
service.
pay, especially if you're with Lady Slee, will you look into what it costs to upgrade on a plane? If I can upgrade
not first class.
If I can upgrade for under $150, I'm in.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
for
no,
under $150 bucks. Yeah,
I've
never run into $150 to upgrade to first
Mace.
class. Have you?
Oh yeah. You
Oh,
need
really?
to. Well, here's what to do.
Okay.
Next time you're in coach,
Yeah.
especially if you're with Juan, go up to the counter and go, "Hey, just curious. I'd be interested in purchasing an upgrade. What would that cost?" And they'll deal with you.
Really?
They'll say, "You know what? First class is wide open."
So you can buy your way into the fancy
That's a
section.
good idea.
Oh yeah.
Oh
You
wow.
should absolutely
I've
do
never
that
sat
too.
first class.
Have you never?
It's wonderful.
never
The only
sat first
time I
class.
ever sat business class was when I went to Europe, where you have the lay down. But like we save up all of our miles to go to Europe. We haven't gone in a while, but lay down to Europe is actually really good.
Lay down anywhere is good.
Yeah, it is. It works great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slee.
Yeah. Yep.
So yesterday, do we do this, Bergman, or do we not do it?
I mean,
Oh yeah, I think you have to do
I mean,
it.
yes, you got to do it at some point. Is this where you want to do it? Right here?
Yeah.
You want to get into this now? Is that what you want to do?
wanna
You want to
get
get
into
into
this
this
right
now?
What the hell? I leave for 4 days, and you guys like alienate the guests. What the hell?
All hell
happened?
breaks
Well, it
loose.
wasn't really an alienating of the guest. I think the guest alienated us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, Ireland, it doesn't exist anywhere now because it's been deleted from every single thing there is.
Why?
yeah, it just doesn't need to be out
It's
there.
yeah, I mean, they were deleting it as it came along yesterday. So every time it popped up in one of the communities, Morales would go,
You know what I
delete.
think-
Honestly,
No,
look, we're
but
all
wait.
we're,
Morales wanted it deleted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
look,
dare
he
I
led the
dare I-
delete charge.
Okay, dare I say, Chris, you're gutless.
That is pretty gutless.
That is the definition of
so
gutless.
so John, does it make a difference? We're all ESPN employees. Like
Right.
he does a big voice on ESPN Wager, ESPN Bet, or Daily
Yeah, I like
Wager.
Joe.
Yeah, he's fine. And
He has a show on our air, or
right.
not on our air, but on network's air.
Yes, he does. Joe and Carlin or whatever it is. So, but yeah, and Cappy is our friend. We want to be.
Well, here's the thing that I wasn't here.
Backing
so
up Cappy.
I will leave it up to you guys on how you want to handle this moving forward since I wasn't here. But my instinct is we roll with it. But Greg and I talked off the air this morning, and Greg said you were under the impression that Joe will not roll with it.
He did not. It didn't sound to me that he wanted to even talk about it when we went to it.
In the moment, there was no.
He said, I came on here to talk about sports.
Joe was no, haha, that's funny. He was not that guy yesterday.
Yeah,
So
that is not going to work here.
Then that's
You better be able to laugh at yourself around here.
So-
There are two announcers. Mason knows who they are.
Yep.
And I've promised him I will never talk about them, so I can't say who they are.
Okay, I
But
know. I
have-
know who you're talking about.
But have zero sense of humor about this kind of. It's not. I'm not talking about Joe. I'm talking about two other guys that have zero sense of humor. Don't like it if you make fun of them. Never make fun of themselves. And I've just kind of.
Does one have a really deep voice?
One has a really deep voice, and one would surprise you. Well, Mace, you know the backstory, so it wouldn't surprise you.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
The other one I didn't know that he was that guy, and he is. So I just kind of divorced myself from both of them, which is what we might have to do with Joe if he's not going to laugh about it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see exactly what went down. I mean, the way, if you missed it, it happened 24 hours ago. So we have Joe on the show. We have him on every week.
Yep.
ESPN Bet, all that stuff.
And he doesn't like Cap.
Well,
right?
here's the thing. Before the show, Cap says, I never heard of him.
Right.
Okay? And he goes, Cap goes to
His
Twitter
More
page.
insulting to Fortenbach.
Well, he's not telling him that, right?
No,
Like,
he's
that's
not telling.
that's
This is
not on
all
the air.
off the air.
Yeah, okay.
But Cap's like, I'm blocked by Joe Fortenbaugh. And I'm like, well, that's a good subject. Let's ask him right off the bat why he
Of course
blocked
it
you.
is.
which we do here. That's completely normal.
Right, completely normal. So
I blocked Bergman like 6 times.
I think I'm still blocked.
But being blocked, like, I don't know. I don't typically block people.
You mute?
I
Right.
will mute.
Sure.
Blocking
Mute's the greatest.
Blocking is like, no, I've literally just built a wall.
Correct.
Between you and the other
Right.
person, and
I
I,
want
want
you to
to know that I blocked you.
So I thought, hey, this is a cool, funny bit. Let's ask Joe about why he blocked Cappy. So I say, Joe, I'm here with Scott Cappy. We just noticed that you blocked him for some reason. What happened? And Joe says, do you really want to talk about this? And I'm like,
oh boy.
And I'm like, yeah, just keep it short.
Keep it short and nice.
Well,
and
how,
nice version.
and how he said it was not like, hey, I'm opening this up to a conversation. It was, do you really want to talk? Like, it was a direct,
yes,
I ain't joking around.
Yeah. And he came through and said
some things
first
about-
of all, he said, if I knew Kaplan was there, I wouldn't have done the show.
Right.
And the other thing was he called him, and I don't know the ruling on that word.
Let's just not say it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's context. How you say it is context.
Right. Well, Greg, you can say it in the way you said it to me on the phone this morning.
Yes.
Like what you do to your finger.
Yes, you can prick your finger.
Right.
There you go.
There you go.
That's correct.
But here's the weird
And I was just stunned, by the way. I just
I would have been too.
I'm like, what do I do now? I got Kaplan next to me. I got Fortenbaugh on the phone. These guys don't like each other. What the hell am I doing here?
Did any of you thought like, oh no, he's joking around or not at all?
He did just not sound. He did not sound the least bit jokey.
And Joe's a great. It seems like a great guy.
He does.
I have Kaplan's back in all of this, and I think you all do too.
Absolutely.
Well, but here's the thing about Kaplan. Kaplan can be like quirky and weird, but
he's not a bad guy.
I've never heard of anybody like having venom against him.
Well, not anymore.
No, I mean
But
the
it
only
sounds
one.
like Joe does. It
The
sounds
only
like he has
one that
venom.
thinks Kaplan is a bad guy is Morales, who just says,
And
"You're
that's
a
a
bad
bad
guy."
I can't believe Morales deleted something. He's normally the ringleader of make a promo out of it.
Let me tell you something. They turned.
That's amongst us.
They went into freakout mode.
Wow.
It wasn't freak out.
Oh yeah, no, you were like running through.
Every time I say
arms
Morales makes
waving.
a promo out of
What
it.
are we doing?
They deleted all shows for the last 2 months
Yes,
just to play
be
it safe.
sure. Just to be
no
sure.
longer exists.
We got rid of it.
We deactivated YouTube.
But here's
it's all working behind the scenes. It's
yeah.
not. Nothing is settled on anywhere.
Bergman's doing corporate-y things,
Yes.
but I would
Yeah.
like to say Scott Kaplan is not a
No, he's not. Of course he's not.
But
prick your finger.
Greg, I think your theory is right. If Joe is willing to tell us why he hates Kaplan,
and not for aggregation.
I say, come on back, Joe. Let's roll.
Yeah.
If he's not willing to joke about it,
Yep.
then I think we're done.
Yeah. Then I'm going to give out my best bets.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's other things.
Well,
that
Mace,
go
you hit a
involved.
parlay
I
last
did.
night.
I had a 4-leg parlay last night.
Hey, Greg, did he catch me?
Wow.
No, you still have about $100,000 more dollars.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to bet, Mace, I promise you this. I'm going to bet every week until the end of the year to give you a chance to catch me.
Let's do it.
And by the way, John, I lost $50,000 on Chip Kelly not being fired, so I have $3,000.
Hey, now
Listen,
wait,
we all
actually,
had a
no,
bad
I have
week. I
13.
lost
I
my
won
survivor
By the way,
pool.
we'll get to the Chip Kelly thing.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah,
save that?
there's a
Aaron?
lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Oh,
there.
God, it's 1:15.
All right, I'm out.
Wanna wrap it up, Slee?
All right,
It's
fellas.
Friday.
Supercross Talk is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger, that's what a hamburger is all about. Mason and Ireland coming up next.
Every Friday, we're giving away fifth row tickets to a Lakers